Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Chimmer Chatter. We never have a good intro, but we're going to do it today. With me is one of my co-hosts, Rasheed Wesley Jr. That's Sheed Got Jokes on all the social media platforms. We are without our other co-host, Josh DeWay. He is on a vision quest, so we look forward to finding out what kind of animal he is in the eyes of the spirits or whatever happens there. But with us, joining us, this is very exciting. They've both been on the show already, but they have got a podcast together that's called White Man Can't Bump. It's Bill fucking Russom. Say it loud and proud. Real Bill Russom on the social media, host of Drunk Bill Explains. And we've got Chris William, is Gorky Romano on the social media, the host of Up and Up, and the upcoming White Man Can't Bump. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We will never have a clean intro, Rasheed. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I noticed.
That's what our intros have always missed. They've just been missing nipples.
Yeah.
Very
true.
They've just been missing nipples. That might be the name of
Yeah.
the podcast.
Real quick, co-host of Drunk Bill Explains. There. Now I gotta stay.
Who else
Hey,
is on that show?
This is gonna clap my ears. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How have we been this week? Rasheed, how you been?
Better than last week. I'll tell you that much. Better than last week. Last week was a rough one for people of color. So
well, you were hunting down racists online. I saw that. Very exciting.
Oh, dog, yeah, and I've been getting a lot of shit for that too. Actually, I've gotten a lot of blowback for that. A shit. I've gotten a lot of blowback, bro. Like, cause me and my wife own a business. We've seen a significant drop in customers because of it.
I've been having this fight with my kids, and I don't want to be having this fight because I believe in the same things they believe, but they want to be out in protest. They want to put signs out in front of the house. And if I didn't have the magazine, that would be a no-brainer. It's perfectly fine because my views are out there in the world that I am, of course, pro-black, as it were, because, I've got my co-host who is my king and
All right, Chris, so this is an intervention, okay?
Yeah.
We got you here today because we wanted to talk to you about this. Having a black friend does not make you pro-black.
Yeah.
And if you have to point out how often you do that you have a black friend,
I think in this climate, you have to say it as loud as you can, as many times as you can. Lots of black friends. Lots of black friends.
that makes you sound guilty.
Yeah.
I'm white. There's guilt attached to that.
I'm just saying an innocent person has never walked around going, guys, I've done nothing.
Not to mention having a black friend right now, it doesn't mean as much as you think it does. Case in point, Ben Carson has friends.
Yeah. Who are the twins? Like the twins, and then that lady, and like whatever these these people who see these four black people agree that we should kill all the immigrants.
I love my African Americans. This is my African American right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Morgan Freeman's been getting thrown into that loop a lot lately too.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I am not a fan of Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
I don't. He dated his stepdaughter or his step granddaughter.
Hot.
What?
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
But then she died. Well, you know what? Now that you're talking about it, it sounds more like a hero.
That sounds like the perfect relationship. He was dating his step granddaughter, and then she died. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, he didn't die first, so she didn't get half.
Yeah.
Wait.
I just want to say who gives.
Never mind. That was stupid.
I just want to say who thinks that after that, who says that porn gives people an unrealistic view of love?
Yeah, I mean, between Morgan Freeman and Woody Allen, I feel like I could execute most of the porn I'm watching.
Hey, gentlemen, I just want to make sure that everyone's aware. Rasheed, this week you are being counted. You're being counted on N-words, and you're being counted on fucks with it.
Question.
Okay.
Yes, Christopher.
First of all, it's just Chris, but thank you.
Get it right, bitch.
Secondly, are we all being counted on N-words or just Rasheed?
I will keep a separate count for you and William.
I'm just looking for a high score.
I know, it's
that's
just
all.
Bill and Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Honestly, I want to see the over/under on Chimmer. My guess is no less than 5.
Oh,
I
you
was
guys
gonna
just
say.
cut them all out?
I was gonna say. Turnabout is fair play. I'm counting cigarettes. So
There you go.
All right.
I feel like mine is gonna be the bigger number at the end of this.
And we mentioned Candace Owen. I'd just like to make a motion. Can we, thanks to Dave Chappelle, can we now refer to her as Candace Stanky Pussy Owen?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
I mean, you can for sure. There's no question there. There's no question there. I'm gonna have to get a ruling on whether the three of us can. But thank you for bringing that up. We were gonna talk about it. Dave Chappelle put out a special. Look how I'm trying to be professional and shit. Dave Chappelle put out a special called 846, which of course is the length of time that the knee was on George Floyd's neck. Wasn't so much a comedy special, though. He did throw in some jokes, and it had been 82 days since he had
87.
87 days since he's been in front of a crowd. In the beginning, I was so excited because he was going, all right, and he's doing all the fidgety open mic shit. I was like, oh, he's human. And then, of course, he became Dave Chappelle, unhuman. And
because he started with the book. He started with like the notebook, and you thought this was gonna be like, but like if you notice, like after a while, he doesn't even look at the book anymore. He puts it down and says, "Fuck the book." Like we just going in. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was dope. And I think it's really interesting how the story about how he schooled that white girl on, you know, like privilege and shit, like came out, and then like a week later, now this happened. So like he's, you know, it was just like it was ready. It was like about time.
Should we do a spoiler alert thing? So if you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Good point.
It's only a half hour, and the whole world has seen it. If you haven't watched it by the time Jose...
It had like 9 million views, like after the first, like, I think 12 hours.
You're right.
Just making sure. When Josh told us that it was released, we looked...
We were all on a call together.
It was only... Yeah, we were on a call together. And it was only an hour into it. It had 144,000 views, and I believe it was you who said that was low.
Yeah, I thought that was low for Dave. Like at this time, I'm like, oh, that's low. Like I knew it was gonna blow up like in the next, because it came out with no announcement. So
I also think there was a lot of confusion in the fact that like everyone was saying he had a Netflix special, but it's not on Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that
everybody did one for it.
Yeah, Netflix put it on. Netflix put it on.
What is it now?
It's on,
no.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, Netflix put it on YouTube. It's on there. Netflix is a joke.
Netflix is a joke.
Yeah.
I is that supposed to be a podcast or a radio show or
no?
It's their comedy special. Like,
well, they had Tom Papa and Fortune Feaster do a show with that same name. I wonder what that's all about.
I think Netflix. I think this is a good example of Netflix's attempt to go multi-platform. Like they're trying to like infiltrate. Like, we get it. Most people have a Netflix account. Some people don't. So they're testing to see if it's like. My theory. My theory is that Netflix wasn't 100% doing this as a good guy move. That they were like testing profitability of this approach.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to fight Spotify right now.
Yeah, but I think with this though, I feel like if this is what they were doing to test to see how much, like how profitable it could be, this is a bad idea to see how profitable it'll be, because anything that you put Dave Chappelle on is gonna be profitable.
Yeah,
you have to do it with something like middle of the road, like, you know, whether people can take it or leave it to see if.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're like, I foresee. Let me look at my magic balls. I've got 2 of them. Look at my magic balls. I figure Netflix and YouTube are going to somehow do something together because of Spotify with Rogan, and they're about to, they're about to release like Spotify is going to do like a full video
platform
as well. So that podcasting on YouTube is going to be done unless Netflix can keep some sort of a like a better offer happening there, or YouTube can keep a better offer, I should say.
Let's do a poll. Who signs up for the Spotify here?
I'm on them.
Who has a Spotify? I have a Spotify.
But it's free right now, correct?
There's a free version, but premium costs like $10 a month.
Yeah.
Do you have the premium? What is that, like no ads?
I do not.
Yeah, I have premium.
Same.
I have that for YouTube.
You can. Well, there's no ads. It doesn't auto shuffle, because if you have free, like you can like favorite songs, but it'll shuffle your favorite songs and then it'll throw shit that you didn't like into there.
Yeah.
You listen to any podcasts on there?
Yeah, and actually that brings up what I was about to say. I think the reason that they want to do like an integrated like video platform, especially for podcasts, has to do with Talib Kweli, because his People Party podcast is wildly popular on Spotify, but it's also wildly popular on YouTube through Uproxx, but they don't get paid for that. So if they do a video platform and switch the People's Party onto their platform, now they get all the money. So,
right. Well,
I think it works.
Especially between them and Rogan.
And Rogan,
and Last Podcast Network.
And Last Podcast. So like between the
Last Podcast Network.
So they used to be part of Cave Comedy Radio out of Queens, and then they branched off and started their own. So the mother podcast, if you want to call it that, is the Last Podcast on the Left, which is like a true crime horror podcast that is like the 5th or 4th biggest podcast in the world. Yeah. Like it's literally like Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro.
Oh God!
Yeah, I know.
Is he popular on Spotify or YouTube?
He's popular with people with tiki torches.
Yeah.
No, I got the gist from how you reacted. Yeah. What platform is he on?
Oh, I mean, he's on all of them. He's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
Do you think they'll do a turf war thing where if you're on Spotify, you can't be on YouTube and vice versa?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've already done that with people where they have exclusivity rights. Like, so
that's what Rogan signed up for. It's exclusive on there.
Last Podcast Network has done the same thing where they used to have a show Tuesday night on AdultSwim.com, and then they also used to post on all podcasting platforms.
What was the name of that show?
And it was the Last Stream on the Left, where they would do just kind of like an oddities. It was like sort of like a podcast sideshow thing. They would do, video, and then they would throw up clips and react to them and stuff like that.
So who do you think is going to fill the void of Rogan, especially if they're going to do the turf
YouTube?
Thing? On YouTube, it's going to be the YouTube, because I hear Cobra Kai's going to a different platform too. They're going to be on some other network.
It's a dated reference, Chris.
Yeah,
you deserve a laugh.
Yeah.
No, it's a show on the network. It's a show on YouTube.
Cobra Kai is a show on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a show on YouTube.
You didn't know about that?
No.
Yeah,
all the original people. It's really fantastic. You should really watch.
Ralph Macchio was in it. It's basically
don't tell him anything. Don't tell him anything.
Yeah.
It's so good. You don't know about it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So don't tell him anything about it because you want to see it pure. It's amazing.
The premise of the show is like just a real-time jump to the guy who owned the Cobra Kai gym. I'm not telling the
pull it back.
The premise of the fucking
pull it back. This is like the first time you saw breast. Let him have this. Let him have this pure moment of discovery.
If it makes
amazing.
If it makes you feel better, Chimmer, until Rasheed mentioned the Cobra Kai gym, I was certain we were talking about G.I. Joe.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it wasn't really clear. No, the Karate Kid is updated, and that's all I'm saying about it.
Yeah.
But 1,000%. By the way, LA comics say 100% a lot. Just now that I said it, you'll notice it. But 1,000%.
Oh, I didn't know you moved to LA. When did that happen?
I did not. I'm just telling you what I saw on the podcast. But I love LA.
You were so
to
close.
Live and die. It's
That
weird
was
because I'm
awful.
looking at the camera. Anyway.
But like, no,
hashtag,
I don't know.
go ahead.
I don't think anybody will fill the void on YouTube.
They have to have a #1 show.
I don't think anybody
Logan Paul
existing Oh God! Oh God!
That's every day, bro.
I don't think
Wait, which one's the one that's cool?
Logan Paul.
Logan, yeah, Jake is still a dick.
Jake
Which
is
was the
every
which
day,
was the
bro.
boxer? Which was
Logan
the boxer?
Paul. Well, they both box. Logan Paul's
But
the good one, though.
one of them's better.
Logan Paul's
Paul,
the better one.
I hear, you know what? I hear in circles that of course on the internet. I hear that he's pretty impressive as a boxer. Like he could maybe take a run at it if he wanted to.
Just shout out to Logan Paul for trying to solve racism with a Squirtle on the desk.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
What on his desk?
A Squirtle. It's a Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
It was Gumby before. It's
I know, Rasheed and Chris William have old souls. I forget how fucking young they are all the time.
Yeah.
Especially Rasheed, because he's gonna look this way until he's 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
Easily.
wait, bro. I can't wait,
Also,
bro.
I will never be able to guess your age, Rasheed, and that makes me sad.
I can't necessarily say that it's only black people because, like, we all know. Shout out to our friend Nikki Volkov.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the other day, she had to tell me her age, and I didn't believe her. Like, I didn't believe her. I'm like, wait,
I remember her. Yeah,
you're in this age bracket, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, like,
yeah.
So
I'd like to point out that I'm wearing Mr. T on my shirt, a white man, and Rasheed is wearing Michael J. Fox on his shirt, a black man. I
don't give a fuck what nobody
We should
says.
switch shirts. That's all I'm saying. We should maybe switch shirts.
I don't give a fuck what nobody says. The Back to the Future trilogy is arguably the greatest cinematic trilogy of all time.
I'm glad that you said that you don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah,
because everybody else thinks something different.
Also, that is certainly arguable. I'm glad you
very arguable.
qualified it with that.
Yes, arguably. Like, but I mean, I also didn't like the Lord of the Rings. So,
what did Chappelle say about Don Lemon?
Oh, yo,
I missed it, but he said something.
Basically, Don Lemon called out black celebrities for not like being vocal enough about the protests, and basically, Dave said he was watching it, and he was like, "I dare him to mention me because through all of his stand-up, he's talked about these kinds of things before." And basically, his whole feeling about it was, the streets don't need me to talk right now because they're speaking for themselves.
That's how I feel.
Well, so a point of contention with that I take is, for somebody who is saying the streets don't need me to talk for them right now, he did talk about how he directly relates to these things for like 30 minutes. And I don't mean like how he relates to the experience. I mean literally like he remembers 846 because it was the time he was born.
Right.
And he remembers 824 because it was his birthday.
Yeah. Right. It's just like, in my opinion, again, I'm a white guy from Central PA, but like, you take away the power from those numbers when you say that you remember them because of how they relate to you and not because what they represent.
On the opposite end of that though, I think in a way that made it more powerful because I think he was like kind of showing that everyone has a specific attachment to, like, this all means something personal to every black person. Like, this is just a personal thing. Like when he brought up Chris Dorner, like when he mentioned,
big fan, by the way,
big fan.
That was a bomb. When he dropped Chris Dorner, I'm like, and by the way he did it, he was quiet and he was like, why don't they ever talk about Chris Dorner? They never mentioned him, and I was like that. I didn't see that coming. But like, so when he talked
Chimmer
about
is looking up Chris Dorner right now.
You don't know.
I was going to put his picture on while we're talking about him.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Chris Dorner. Everyone always uses the same picture of Chris Dorner. By the way, the one like when he's in his army fatigues,
and
with
he's
like the cop background.
Yeah,
he's just smiling. But
he looks like a bloated LL Cool J a little bit.
Yeah.
He looks like the dad from That's So Raven.
I'm for real, not kidding at all. The first time that I saw that picture of him, I was like, what season of NCIS are they on?
I don't remember this episode of In the House.
Yeah, right. I thought. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, good. No, I was just gonna say, like, I can't unsee the dad from That's So Raven when I look at him. Like, I can't unsee it.
Well, there were two things that I just saw, because when you were sharing the screen, and please don't show it again. There, the picture that I well, because of what I'm about to say, the picture that I saw supported what I thought had happened, because I remembered the end of the story was that they had thrown smoke bombs or smoke grenades or whatever. Yeah, basically they set the cabin that he was in on fire and burned him alive. And there was a picture that his body, like, I think I just saw his body when you shared the pictures.
Oh shit!
I won't share it again. I won't share it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like when he brought up Chris Dorner, he talked about
oh
like,
yeah, there.
why
Oh,
every
Jesus.
why
Yeah,
every
so-
cop felt that why every cop felt, you know, that personally. I felt like, and then he said, like, that's why we feel the way that we feel about this, because we're taking it personally. So I think, like, when he, like, attached it to 846 and then 824, he's like, these things all mean something personal. Because, like, when he brought up Kobe, I was like, I remember, you know, my personal attachment being his last game, and I was watching the last game, and I was the only person in the room watching that game, and I was on my feet. And then, like, so when he talked about, you know, being at the Grammys that night and why he didn't go, I was thinking, like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it either, because I watched his last game in that arena, and then now they're having the Grammys in that arena and having his numbers up there. So I mean, I get it, but I can also see your point, Chris. So, like, it kind of felt like he was attaching it, making it too personal about himself a little bit.
Yeah,
I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
He gets extra points for using the stool, though. We're all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that made it. I feel like it made it more important. Like, it felt like he was talking to you in like a real. No,
this is why I do it, Rasheed. That's why I do it.
Bullshit.
I will say that's one of the things too that I thought was really phenomenal about it is, it felt like you were getting genuine Chappelle off the top of his head.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's been really good historically at like making it seem like this idea just came to me as he presents you with a joke.
Yeah.
But like he was stumbling on his words so much, and you could hear emotion in his voice. And there were so many like long pauses where he's like trying to find the right words to say.
So you think that was all? Like, to use a rap word, freestyle?
I think it was. I think it was off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah, I think there was no preparation there. I think
you could tell in one moment, like when he's like drinking something, and you know, like when you get a thought and you're like drinking, you're like, like he actually did that.
Well,
like,
I was gonna say the thing that sticks out to me is when he's trying to light the cigarette.
Yeah.
When he like goes to light the cigarette and then he pulls it back out to like say something, and then he goes and lights it again. Like
I was so angry by all of that. I was like, get the man a fucking lighter that works. What the fuck?
Well, there was one point where he thought he lit his cigarette because he was in the middle of talking.
Yeah.
And he just put the lighter away and he didn't light it at all. Yeah. And then, but he was dragging on it and didn't realize, oh, fuck. Yeah. That's how deep in thought he was.
Listen, those of us who are addicted to this little white vixen, we just.
That's what I call my penis.
Little white vixen. Oh, that might be the name of the podcast. So, Rasheed, you were at it. Did anybody else go to the protest? I know Billy wanted to go to one, but schedule prohibited.
Yeah, I was go today.
Yeah,
Rasheed,
I was in the same boat today. Schedule prohibited.
But Rasheed went.
That was supposed to be on Sunday, and then they moved it.
Right,
and that fucked up a lot of things.
But Rasheed
specifically for me. So next time, guys, have a protest when I can go, so I don't feel like an asshole. I had to send them an extra $20 on Cash App because I felt that bad for not doing it.
That's what white guilt pays.
Yeah, I bought a pizza.
But Rasheed,
by the way, they shouted that out too. They're like, by the way, we got more pizza coming in now. And I'm like, so now I'm like, oh shit, that was dope.
Yeah, I heard that they fed you. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, there was food, pizza. Like, it was a whole thing.
Is that normal for protests?
No, That depends on what kind of protest you're going
for this batch, it is. I've been seeing a ton of that where people are giving away like snacks and food and masks and water and all sorts of shit like that.
But
like
I don't
across
think
the country.
I don't think there was any pizzas in Atlanta that night though.
Yeah, probably.
Anybody had pizzas.
Yeah.
Which, can we talk about that real quick? Because that was one of the like, on one hand, it was scary to watch, like live, like while they were doing the coverage of it. On the other hand, it was like one of the.
What are you talking? Be more specific.
Okay, so the night of like the first major protest, or maybe it was the second night, they had a huge protest in downtown Atlanta. Which, by the way, the black people in attendance are clearly they a lot of them have gone on record and saying the shit was fine until the white people showed up, and then things started to get out of hand.
Yeah,
as is generally the case. Sure.
Yeah, because they were like, black people ain't comfortable enough to get on top of a cop car.
Right, exactly.
So I was like, that's a good point. But so at first, like, so when CNN first started covering it, they didn't cover the beginnings of it. But apparently at one point they had marched to the front of the CNN Center, and they were all out front of there. They had spray painted on the CNN logo and everything, and the cops came and pushed them back down the street, and that's when CNN started covering it. And you could see like a cop car had been burned and everything, but there was a clear line with more police coming in, keeping them down at the end of the street, and then they had switched off to cover another protest. But then like an hour or so later, they cut back to inside the fucking CNN Center, and now there was a line of police, and it was not a very large line, in the lobby of the CNN Center, and you could see that they had busted out the windows of the CNN Center, the doors and everything, and they're all out front. There's a white kid with a skateboard, like he literally started punching the glass to the point where his knuckles started bleeding. And you can see
he's
like
really
all
upset at the way black people are treated. Sure.
Which and he had like red dots all over him. He was like, "Do it, I don't give a fuck." And this gave me my theory about protest. Every protest is fine until you see a shirtless black dude in track pants. They're usually red and usually have a white stripe going down the side, and everything is fine until that guy says, "Let's go," and shit goes left.
Yeah.
But like, so they were just covering it, and you could see like the crowd getting amped and more like intense and everything. And then they're covering it, and at one point you see like something smoking from the back of the crowd land inside of the building. And they're like, what the fuck did they're like, what did you just throw in there? And you see the cops like kind of move away, but you could tell it wasn't fast enough, and then it went off, and it was a huge like fucking M80 in the lobby of the CNN Center, and they were going in. Like, it was crazy. And a lot of people always want to say, oh my God, why did they destroy the CNN Center? This CNN has always been good to liberals and protesters. But
because Don Lemon's gay.
No, because I live in Atlanta, and what a lot of people don't know is the police station is inside the CNN Center. That they were trying to
boom.
Get to
That's
station.
Exactly what it is. Holy shit.
Yeah, they weren't. They didn't give a fuck about CNN. They were trying to get to the police station.
Why isn't that reported? Like, why? Like, because what was it like? Was it Minneapolis? No. Wasn't it in Minneapolis? Like the first building that they set on fire was that department, that police department?
Well, the first night they tried to, but there was a long enough like line where they were able to like kind of hold them off. But they did do damage. They were able to like break the windows, break the doors, and everything. So they had to board it up a little bit. But the second night, they were out front of the police station, and eventually the mayor was like, "Okay, abandon it. Fuck it. It's not worth it." And
why can't get arrested for that?
I don't know. I don't know if there's been any arrests.
I think a white kid got arrested for that.
But I mean, like they were intense, and I've never, as a black person, like it's like I said, it was kind of scary to watch because I don't want to see black people get hurt doing this, because when the hammer comes down, it's going to come down on black people harder and faster than anybody else. Yeah. But it was one of the most inspirational and in a weird way, heartwarming things I've ever seen, because there's something like, without getting too sappy on a fucking comedy podcast, there's something beautiful about seeing black people say, okay, we played your game long enough. We were nice about it long enough. We're tired of not being heard when we're doing it your way. So fuck your way. we're doing this the way that you deserve to have it done. And
for the protest
that
you were at.
Well, real quick,
remembering that it's a comedy podcast.
I had
way
one
too many
real
All
quick
Lives
thing.
Matter t-shirts there for me. There were way too many All Lives Matter t-shirts there.
Shit. I wanted to ask this question. During the riots so far, does anybody have stats on how many people have died at protests and riots, like together?
At least
like
a dozen.
10, 12, 14. Okay,
I'm not sure.
How many black people have been murdered by police in that amount since this started? About the same amount.
There was one earlier today in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the Wendy's.
Last night, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wendy's. Yeah. No, and not even that. The earlier, like
it's because he was upset they ran out of Baconators.
Honestly, it was very
there's a meat shortage.
I get it, because I love Baconators more than anybody. But like, not even the day before, they found a black guy hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
In front of a police station. Like,
and they're calling it a suicide. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, if I know black people the way I think I do, and I think I do, if we gonna kill ourselves, we gonna do it with Newports, not doing it the way that you think.
Oh, Rasheed Wesley Jr. figuring out a way to work in a bit. Well done.
That was too easy. That was too easy, and I feel bad for it.
Now, my daughter and my wife were at the same rally as you, and I was appalled to find out that they were not lifted up and hoisted about as the white saviors that I have made them. What do we have to do?
Look, Doug, I told you before. The Green Book fucked that up for y'all. The white savior notion is done. We ain't buying that shit.
I'm really upset because I wrote a script for White Man Can't Jump 2, but it had a white savior thing, and now I got to toss it.
Yeah.
Billy Hoyle was going to save the day again, but now I got to toss it.
Let me guess. Billy Hoyle coaches a all-white basketball team that gets a new black player.
That's Sydney's kid.
Yeah, who has the ability to dunk.
What do you got? There's a bug?
Big motherfucker. It's like this fucking bag, yo. That shit. What is those Helgramites or whatever?
We are fine waiting for you to battle this thing.
No, the way that you're moving around the way that you're moving around the mic, I'm like, oh, so that's how Blueface records.
Yeah.
Now, Rasheed.
Yeah. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Rasheed, you're getting carried away with the sequel. It's a very simple premise. Billy and Rosie Perez's son finds himself in a pickle with the nephews of those brothers that chased them all around the country, and Sidney Dean's pure black Nubian prince son has to come to the rescue. See, it's a reverse white savior now. I think I've done it. I think I've done it.
Really good.
So Ice Cube hates Jews. What?
Wait, hold on. Run that back. Hold on. Ice Cube
hates Jews. Ice Cube is very active.
I thought he said made shoes. I thought you said Ice Cube made
How hasn't he made shoes? With all the stuff he's involved. Anyway, he's upset with the Jewish folks. He's been really active on social media in the last week or so. And he says he's telling his truth. So I guess that's the way you answer anything questionable now.
I have a problem with any black person who wants to talk shit about other races. I have a big problem with that. Because, like, how the fuck can we say this country has done us wrong and then we do other people wrong? Like, that's...
All right, hang on now. Again, comedy podcast. Make a joke about the situation, and then we move on to the next thing. Maybe you say something like, "Are we there yet, Jews?" or something to that effect.
So the joke is this. It's kind of like a kid gets his ass whooped in the house, goes to school, tells another kid about it, and the kid goes, pats his back and says, "That's okay." And then that kid says, "Fuck you," and punches him in the face. That's kind of what it's like. And I can't get down with it.
The only thing as a person who identifies as mid '90s Ice Cube can,
it's on his birth certificate.
Yeah, the most troubling thing about Ice Cube is his hatred for. He's very anti-Semitic, but also like it comes in spurts, but he's talked about how it's like, so what he is, I'm not defending him, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I just know a lot about what he says. And I think it's wrong. but basically,
I love the disclaimer. Like
yeah, just so everybody knows.
He needs to put the disclaimer because he dresses like Ice Cube,
right?
So he has to make it known that he likes Ice Cube's wardrobe, not so much as not.
Well, I like everything except for the anti-Semitism.
Same with me and Cosby and the rape. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, and and the thing is that he has gone on record many times, even on the album The Predator, he talks about the fact that it's like, or no, was it? Yeah, it was. He talks about how he's not talking about all Jews, just those Jews who have like controlled black, and I know that it's wrong, but he is specifically named
George Soros.
I don't even know.
By the way, has anybody gotten their checks from George Soros yet?
Yeah.
Has anybody got yours?
Mine direct deposits.
I haven't seen a picture, but is he just a guy with a big hood over his face, like the Star Wars bad guy?
Yeah.
But my issue with that statement is that I've also heard a lot of racist white people use that against African Americans. Of like, no, I don't hate black people. It's just N-words.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And Chris
no.
Rock for that special.
Chris Rock had the same bit.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Like, I think that there's, I mean, but then also like, just like from that time period, there was a big gap between Muslims, which he was, God damn, do you see that?
It blocked out the light.
That's the ghost of Easy.
That is a big
It's the ghost of Easy.
The ghost of Easy.
That was very good, Chris.
I'm talking about my man.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so
they were only cool for like a week before he died.
Oh, who were we talking about?
Matters.
Eazy-E and Ice Cube.
Oh,
yeah.
A
week before he died.
Yeah. I have theories that all, like, everybody was like that, like all celebrities that have beef don't really have it. It's just like, let's keep up appearances.
Honestly, yeah. 50 Cent, all those beefs ain't real.
I think Tupac and Biggie would beg to differ, but I get.
That's probably. I think that.
Yeah, but that's when you don't let everyone in the circle in on the bit. That's what happens.
Right, exactly. Like, wait a second. I thought we were. No, it was just to sell records, guys. Settle down. I was gonna put out who shot you, and then nobody got shot, and it would have been fine.
Let's see if Rasheed's improv skills are working. Hey, Rasheed, when was the last time you heard that Ice Cube record?
Don't make me do it, man.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Rasheed, listen to me.
Take your ownership.
Rasheed, listen.
With you. You wanted to bring it back. You gotta be strong.
Rasheed, you cannot let a white man.
How long has it been, Rasheed? How long?
Perform for him.
We'll come back to that.
You're not one of those little grind box.
No. He said he wanted to bring it back. I'm an ally.
Bring it back under your terms, Rasheed.
Yeah, Doug, you ain't gonna treat me like Candace Owens around this bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
I'm not gonna be your Candace Staple Pussy Owens for you.
You said but just so we're clear, it wasn't the white man's idea. You wanted to bring it back.
No, hold on. You know what? No, better, Chris Williams. Better turnaround. Chimmer, what did I say?
Oh, well,
Chris. Hey, Chimmer. What's the phrase he wants to bring back, Chimmer? I'm curious.
I plead the fifth. People five. You wanted to bring it back. I am not at liberty to discuss what it is you wanted to do. I just know that you wanted to bring it.
So you want your black friend to say it for you?
No. My black friend said, I want to bring it back. I'm taking ownership. And I said, I'll be happy to help you.
Oh, I see. No, but like talking about like hip hop and the Jewish community real quick. Remember a couple years ago, Jay-Z got in a little bit of trouble because they thought he was being like anti-Semitic, and he was like, "No, I was being sarcastic."
This isn't old news.
Yeah, he was. I mean, so just like saying that like Jews control everything. I mean, like, and that's the thing though, is that like, so. Oh God! Is it like you saying like? Is it like me being like, well, Asians are good at math? Why is that a bad stereotype? You know what I mean? Well, like black guys have big dicks. Why is that a bad thing? Like,
well, like the way he did it was because like there's a long-standing there's a long-standing like stereotype in the black community. It's like, oh, Jewish people own all the property in America. And in the song, in the story of OJ song, he was talking about like financial freedom and getting your money together and buying property, like making good money moves as a black community as a whole. So what he would do, like, you want to know how Jewish people own all the property in America? This is how they did it,
right?
And it wasn't like some like, oh, they did it because they're racist. It's like because they were smart as a collective with their money and they made smart moves. We should be doing the same.
Yeah, but also too, I think, I mean,
I'm on Chris's side, right? Already.
not to say that, Mr. Z is is incorrect in that statement. However, he is disregarding the systemic racism that has been used to dismantle the wealthy black community in America that did exist following slavery.
Very true. Tulsa, Rosewood.
Way too close.
Yeah. No, I mean, and by the way, we know who wears the pants in that relationship. It's Mr. Knowles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Mr. Knowles.
But yeah, it's just like, I think, again, and this is where you get kind of like, where people like me, kind of set out into that white savior territory a little deeper than I'm comfortable. But like, I do think, like, while I think that Jay-Z has done incredible things for the black community, there are lyrics like that like that are like racist. Like that lyric, in my opinion, is more racist against black people than it is anti-Semitic.
Damn, bro, I never thought about it like that. That's a really fucking good point.
We're really killing it as a comedy show tonight.
I know. No, you know what? No, fuck this. Sometimes comedy can really talk about some real shit. Comedians can talk about real shit.
Yeah, we are definitely going to make... We're gonna definitely make some. Yeah, we're gonna make some real
solve racism by the end of this.
It's like, I swear, Chimmer is like a fucking human goldfish. He doesn't he doesn't acknowledge that 35 seconds ago we were all laughing.
Yeah,
and we took this one moment for me to make a statement.
God damn it! I already lost one black co-host this week. I'm trying to keep the other.
Hey, Chimmer, don't worry. I'm here as long as you need me.
Yeah.
I think the joke is that you're wearing a Mr. T-shirt, one of the most agile black people ever, and that's who you really wish you were.
You know what? Hey, I don't know if I told you this, Rasheed. Doctor said that I can do girly push-ups and sit-ups, so in no time I'll be 3 to 4 pounds lighter. So look out. Wait a second. What is that? Hold on, Rasheed. I hear something. It must be This Week in Blackface.
Oh, God.
I take this opportunity to piss in my bottle. I'll be right back.
Rasheed, This Week in Blackface, we have got a superstar, a mogul, a man who commands respect. And there he is, one Howard Stern.
Oh, my Lord.
And this is Howard.
Oh my God!
And it gets worse.
Oh my God!
It gets a lot worse. Let me say that when Howard Stern had a TV show way back in the 90s, and that's Sherman Helmsley with him, by the way. So that leads to the number one question. If a black person is sitting next to you, can you in fact do such a heinous thing as blackface? I say no.
Yeah, get Candace Owens on the line.
Yeah. Well, look, wait, look at it before you get off that page. I want it. The full story needs to be said. They are portraying Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg when Ted Danson did that.
Correct. Rasheed,
So,
you'll remember me telling you about Ted Danson.
Three Men and a Baby.
We discussed Ted Danson before.
Yeah. 3 Men and a Baby.
But holy shit,
you're absolutely right.
I didn't know it was like this.
Hey guys, I wasn't defending it, by the way. I'm just saying, like they're doubling down on like the already real bad shit.
Yeah, I didn't know. What Terrence K. Williams? Okay, well,
he doesn't like the black.
He
doesn't agree with it.
Wait a minute. Go back to that dude. Fuck him. For real. This goofy ass, coon ass, Daffy Duck.
Oh, now he says it.
This goofy ass, coon ass, Daffy Duck with the red bow tie, tap dancing ass motherfucker. Fuck Terrence K. Williams the hardest way possible. Fuck him. He is the Candace Owens with the dick. Fuck him for real.
Says he says he slams Howard Stern.
Yeah, but probably
for his
because
blackface video.
Probably because one, it would make news because that's a very
Bill's got one eye
on.
Bill's got one eye on that bug.
So the minute that the George Floyd protest started, he went everywhere. It was like, is this what we gonna do? Is this okay? If you want to see, Chris, you gonna look at me like, for real, did you just say this? But real shit, if you want to see a house nigga in action, for real, this motherfucker has a whole video on his Twitter being so thankful as a black man that Donald Trump invited me to sit at his table for dinner. That is the most
big deal.
So hold on.
I've ever
Do you want some evidence of that?
Yes.
So there's this Republican website called America's Voice. It's a conservative, very, very conservative news source.
Mm-hmm.
They have a profile for Terrence K. Williams because he's written on their website. He's done stuff on their website. Do you want to see his headshot that he uses on their website?
Oh, yes, please. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh,
this man is Stephen Fetchit with a journalist degree. Like, oh, my God, bro.
Well, I don't know what to make of this, Rasheed, because this was supposed to be This Week in Blackface, and you are more upset with Terrence K. than you are with Howard Stern, who wore
Here's the thing.
blackface.
Terrence, he has done enough shitty things in his past that there's not a lot of room for him to surprise me. Howard Stern can't surprise me as much as people would think he would. But
is Howard Stern important to your generation like he was to the generations before?
No,
even though he's a big time interviewer now and doesn't throw baloney at asses, he's not. He hasn't endeared himself to your age bracket.
No. You wanna shock me? Pull up a video of Rosenberg from Hot 97 doing blackface. That'll hurt me.
Also,
that'll kill me.
So the Terrence K. Williams exact tweet calling this out. So the reason why this came back up, he said, people are calling at Tucker Carlson racist, but they are silent when it comes to Howard Stern wearing blackface and using the N-word. Howard thinks Trump supporters are dumb and racist, but I find this video to be racist and dumb of him. It's not funny.
Wow.
Okay, but my thing is, okay, my dude, you can be right, but that doesn't cover up the bullshit that you've been putting on for the longest. Dude, here's the thing. Conservatives have finally found the way to get around doing blackface. It's just find the right black person and pay them to say the shit that you want them to say.
Is Sherman Helmsley in the wrong for participating in a skit where he plays Whoopi Goldberg and a white man plays Howard Stern or Howard Stern plays? Yes.
Yes, and I will thank Chris Williams for changing my mind about this, because when we talked about Jimmy Fallon and I was like, oh well, maybe it's not that bad. because, Chris Rock was cool with it. But he was like, no, it's still fucking wrong, and he shouldn't have did it because he knew better. Just because one black person says it's okay because he's friends with him doesn't mean it's not going to be offensive to every other black person. So you're right. And Sherman Helmsley, I put him in the same category. Yeah, you were cool with it, but that as a black person, you should think about how this is going to affect everyone else.
Yeah. So that's it.
You should know this is going to, no, he was wrong for that.
So in order of anger, it goes 1, Terrence K.
Yes.
2, Howard Stern. 3, yes. Sherman Helmsley.
Yes.
And that has been this week in Blackface.
Well,
we didn't even.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is that
segment.
I personally think that this lands more in the ballpark of the Sarah Silverman blackface. Like, it is a commentary.
Yeah,
it is not.
Okay.
It is like they're making fun of a direct situation. Like, my personal opinion is I don't use the N-word even if I'm rapping along to a song. I will
by his own self. He doesn't do it.
Yes.
And that's not me. And that's not me just like saying that because Rasheed is here. I swear to you, on everything I've ever loved, if I am alone in the car, I skip N-words. Like, I just do.
You are
him and I have had this conversation before.
I just say nothing. And I almost exclusively listen to rap music.
I try to do that, but then they Notorious Thugs. I'm going very, very quickly when I'm rapping. It's hard for me to edit all of that. Yeah. I feel like I get the Bones Thugs and Harmony waiver for that particular song.
Just don't sing it in front of anybody of color.
I don't want to miss everybody. Okay.
well, and like, I don't know. Yeah, never mind. It's not the time. This will be another hour discussion.
Rasheed's already a little too militant for me right now, to be honest.
Like, it's just real shit. There have been so many black people in the past 2 weeks that I've wanted to lay hands and feet on. Because you are out here talking the most shit, doing the most. Like, Terrence.
What does Terrence Trent D'Arby have to say about all this?
Who?
Terrence Trent D'Arby.
What? Know your history.
I think we just give that joke a moment of silence for how quickly it died.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, that's just because you're all too young.
That joke had SIDS.
Damn.
If that joke was a baby, Michael J. Fox was holding.
You son of a bitch. How dare you?
But no, it's just like, I think like there are use of blackface is tiered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the blackface for the sake of blackface, which is what Jimmy Fallon did. That is like unforgivable. And then there's okay, I get it because you're mocking a situation. It's still not okay.
Right.
But you're mocking something someone else did. Like, it's like a direct quote. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Like when I wrote history papers in college, there were times where I wrote on subjects where I had to write the N-word. I didn't
What in the name of Terrence Trent D'Arby are you saying?
But I was using like direct quotes. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't saying it in my writing. I was like, this person said that, like, specifically like in my thesis, I was talking about like the education system in the United States and how it evolved over time. Right. So there were times where like superintendents would use the N-word and I would have to pull quote from a superintendent report. And and my professor was like, no, you leave that. Like, it's important for the time frame. You have to leave that in there.
Well, and also real quick, just to, if you change it, if you censor it, then you have to explain why you censored it, that it wasn't that it was you who censored it and not them. And then like shit like that, like it is important to like yeah.
But it's still bad. It's just like it's just not as bad as like the Jimmy Fallon thing.
I think it should be a movie. I think there should be a movie. Tell me if this falls in the white savior thing, Rasheed. There should be a movie about Ruby Bridges and the one teacher that volunteered to teach her when they integrated the schools.
I'll be down.
That would be an interesting movie.
Definitely white savior. It would be interesting. But it's definitely white savior.
White savior movie.
I thought it would be
Like, and
Yeah,
I think
throw
I
that
mentioned
script
this,
out. Go ahead.
I think I mentioned this before, but like to your point, Chris, I like when people call, like, there's times where like they'll try it and then they'll like call it out for how ridiculous it is. Like, I love 30 Rock, and there's an episode where Tracy Morgan's character and Jane Krakowski, her character, like decide who has it worse, a black man or a white woman. So they switch places, and Tracy comes out as a white woman, and Tina Fey's character sees him and goes like, "Wait, so if you switch to this, then what did she do?" And she comes out like in blackface, and immediately Tina Fey's like, "No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this."
Right.
And both in the office like, "Take this shit off. We're not doing this." So I see it like they're doing awful shit for a reason.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what I said too when we discussed the Jimmy Fallon thing of like, if you're Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, it is integral to the character, right? Like that bit that Howard Stern did with Sherman Hemsley, he could not have done not in blackface.
Right, Jimmy could have done it without doing the blackface.
Jimmy absolutely could have done that without doing blackface. But Sherman Hemsley,
I think it would have been funnier if he did it.
Yeah, but Sherman Hemsley could not have done, and Howard Stern could not have done that bit not in blackface.
Well,
oh
wow,
is that it?
Yeah, can we just say how ugly
one,
Tracy Morgan is as a woman?
Yeah.
That was, but I think that was the point. Like, just
yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it was. Well, by the way, that's a great episode. I will admit that was a great episode. Oh, that was but once again, like in that thing that you just showed, that was something that was supposed to be in black and white. That was one of their live episodes that they did, and it was supposed to be like, oh, this is the history of television and how it used to be, and they filmed it in black and white to make it look a certain way, but it was really in color. And the white guy, who's clearly a white guy pretending to be a black guy, was dumb, but the black guy who's clearly a black guy was actually really smart and like intelligent, and hated the fact that this person was doing this shit. And by the end of the like scene, he's choking him out for doing this dumb bullshit.
Yeah, again,
So,
gotcha.
Integral to the character.
Why do you constantly show the next thing you want to talk about as opposed to the thing we're actually talking about?
This is still prejudice.
You could have
30 Rock.
No. You could have shown the John Hamm thing the whole time we've been talking about it. You could have pulled that back up.
Which, by the way,
not for nothing, but
you know what, you son of a bitch.
Is Wolfface racist?
See, right there. Yo, is this racist? Month in racism.
Yeah, but like, see, like, look at the bottom, you can see the black and white version of it. Like, so that's what I was talking about.
Right. Well, here's the thing that so first off, it seems like the fuck, I should have written this down. I know the first part is the Robert Downey Jr. thing. It seems like people forget that it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. was doing blackface. He was playing a character who was doing blackface because
the cast continuously called him out on it too.
Right, yeah. Exactly. It was constantly called out, and I think that was because of the fact that it wasn't just like a person pretending to be black.
Yeah.
Right. That was where that's where it a lot more people give it like kind of give it a pass.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same thing. And well, you were saying also about Howard Stern doing that particular blackface where he looked like he was doing the minstrel thing that Ted Danson did. They couldn't have done that bit any other way, but they should not have done that bit.
Sure, absolutely.
It's fun. It's fine to make fun of it. There was some fucking movie, like maybe not another teen movie or something dumb like that, but one of the guys that dresses up like Mr. T, but he's white, and he doesn't do blackface. He's just got a mohawk and the jacket and the chains and all that shit.
Oh no, it's How High. It was How High.
It is How High. God damn it!
Why and I'm so upset that I remembered that movie because that movie was bullshit. Can we just be honest about that movie?
What?
No, that movie was great.
That movie is tremendous.
No.
Yeah.
Although
you are out of your skull. We won't let you have that.
I think the only thing I liked about that movie was I need money. He might have been the best part of that movie for me.
Right.
and
what was his name? He was a big
Redmayne.
deal on BET for a while.
Yeah, but then again, BET is the Disney Channel of black actors. It eats them up, makes them popular for a little bit, and as soon as they don't need them anymore, it spits them out, and we never hear from them again. Like, remember, now, I don't know if you guys remember him, but Chimmer, you probably do. Remember Pierre? Like the light-skinned dude who was in How to Be a Player and Bats?
Okay. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
Where is he now? Exactly.
Better question. Jesse Camp, MTV VJ, where's he now?
Oh, by the way, sweet transition.
You like that?
Perfect.
Well, I was going to do this one instead. Speaking of Robert Downey Jr., he's in a new summer blockbuster, Doolittle. How about some summer movies?
You know what's really funny? We the actual thing, like, I just realized this. The actual thing that I wanted to mention about Ice Cube from the very beginning wasn't. I didn't even know. I didn't even realize that he had done the anti-Semitism thing, because all I knew was somebody posted on Twitter that a bunch of black folks had broken into the Walmart and stole like $100,000 worth of stuff, and Ice Cube tweeted, "Yo, I'll cover the 100K, but you don't press charges. Deal?"
Ooh.
And yeah, Walmart said,
and I don't know what Walmart said. Look it up. Find a picture. 10 minutes later.
That is some baller.
I didn't even know how to invite people to this Zoom meeting, and you're giving me crap about not Googling shit up. You're like, this thing's even moving. Rasheed's the one who should be doing this stuff. He's young. He knows about it.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not called Rasheed Chatter.
Yeah.
This is on you. Now, okay, so for everybody who's going to be watching this shit later, this was the funniest shit that I have seen for the past 3 months.
It's very frustrating.
I called Chimmer to see like if he was awake, because this motherfucker is usually asleep until 10:30. To see if he was ready to get to start the podcast. He says yes, but he is getting so frustrated. His voice is elevated. He's on the verge of tears. It was really hard. He had an old man technology tantrum. He rage quit. Like, he was like, "What? I don't know how to do this." You sounded like you were about to say, "Eddie key, where's the Eddie key?"
If I'm being honest, I just double checked to make sure I knew how to invite people for the next time.
Yeah, the way you were panicking, you sounded like the white girl at the end of Blair Witch Project.
It was so bad. It was so fucking bad. I couldn't help
go home.
When I get frustrated, my voice goes up. You're absolutely right.
Which, by the way, is all right. Has everybody seen like all the Blair Witch Project movies?
I saw the first two.
Saw them all.
Well,
I saw the first one and the most recent one.
I saw the first one in Camden, New Jersey, on opening weekend, when people thought that it was like still real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember that shit? When everybody thought it was
fast.
That was for me, because I love a good marketing campaign. That was the peak of guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
That you will never be. Although, not gonna
Camden's scarier than the Blair Witch Project, though.
Very true. Camden, New Jersey is scarier than the Blair Witch Project ever will be. That place is terrifying.
There's somebody talking to a wall on every street corner.
Although I will say, I think the only movie franchise that might have a better marketing campaign is the Cloverfield franchise.
That was really great too.
Is deep. Like, do they post pictures on multiple websites that you have to download, blow up? There's like a little blurry thing in the corner that you have to you decode it. There's code in that bitch, and you got to throw that bitch in. And bro. I'm a sucker for a good marketing campaign.
Yeah, the alternate reality games were fucking cool.
Yes.
They did one, and Nine Inch Nails did one for their Year Zero album, and that was, and I think A Perfect Circle did one too. But there was like a game that was actually, like, it was just like a whole game that they were doing, where you had to actually go to places too.
Well, remember what Beano did for Because the Internet with like the whole movie script?
Yeah.
And then a bunch of unlisted YouTube clips too.
Yeah, that
like you couldn't
dope.
find the clips on YouTube themselves. You had to access the clips through the script.
That's crazy.
Like it was pretty dope. Which, by the way, I've read the script. If anybody watching this later should read it, let's Google Because the Internet script. Like when they talk about the boy's dad, first off, the boy was supposed to be played by Jaden Smith, and second, the boy's dad wasn't to be played by Rick Ross. It was Rick Ross. His father was fucking Rick Ross.
That's wild as hell.
And his father and Rick Ross dies. Like on the album, they have that Earn song. Rick Ross fucking dies while he's in Stockholm.
Yeah,
oh my god,
so fucking cool.
That is awesome.
It was fucking dope. Like,
sorry to I didn't mean to interrupt and go all the way back, but also no word from Walmart.
Okay, Christopher Chimmer, back to movies.
Yeah.
Back to movies. Thank you. I'm trying to run a tight ship. It's hard. Rasheed's easily distracted.
I am. I'm a very angry person. I'm,
See what I'm saying? And write it down. I try to get him to spit out his drink every time. It never does.
If I had alcohol in my mouth, I would have did it just.
They say that the first big movie of the summer is supposed to be Artemis Fowl on the Disney Plus network. How do we feel about streaming networks being a location that we pull blockbuster movies from?
I think it makes sense at this time, but it's scary.
Yeah, I miss movies.
I think it hurts the company more. Like, it helps us, but it hurts the company more.
I don't know, man. DreamWorks fucking annihilated with Trolls World Tour.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
True.
I think that
might be the first blockbuster of the summer.
Yeah, but I think they also made more money doing it that way too, because like the rentals cost more on Disney Plus. That's just like $7.99 a month. But like, in order to watch Trolls, you had to shell out that $20 for every time.
I don't think Artemis Fowl was ever getting a theatrical release, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, though. It kind of felt like a network movie, like one that like TNT would have made or something. I watched it today. I thought it was cute.
The books were good, but this is gonna suck.
I have no idea what you guys are even talking
about. Bill doesn't know how to read.
It's a Disney film. Speaking of Disney films, watch Rasheed get so excited. It's going to make me want to throw up in my mouth.
The Lone Ranger?
But Mulan is set for a release.
Yes.
Go ahead, nerd.
First off, I'm a Universal Studios nerd, so fuck you. I'm a Universal
but that's just because you haven't been to Disneyland yet. Once that happens,
first off, I've been to Disney World.
Check your privilege, my friend.
And I hated it. I hated every fucking second of it. I hated it. Although I will say the fireworks display did make me tear up. Not because it was beautiful necessarily, but because I had finally achieved a poor kid's dream of making it to
marrying
Disney.
a white lady. What?
First off, I was single out of high school. All
right. I'll just assume that there wasn't an older white lady there with you.
I just want to know why there's no Mushu in Milan.
They said it was culturally insensitive.
That's a little dragon, Zelda? Who voiced that? Do we remember?
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But they said it was culturally insensitive, so they're replacing it with a phoenix.
Okay, that's cool.
Does Phoenix have an urban swag about it?
No, but when they first said that they were going to do a live action version of it, everybody wanted it to be Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Kevin Hart to the.
So they wouldn't have to do any CGI because he's that little.
Wait. All right. Let me. Can we back up for a second and let me wrap my brains? So they're doing a live action Mulan.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And they the folks in Mulan are of what nationality?
It's not whitewashed.
All Chinese.
They're all Chinese, right?
Yeah.
So then why would an animated dragon be culturally insensitive to a culture that I know this. the dragon is.
It's because it's the year of the dog.
Shut the fuck up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I don't know.
That's what we do here, Rasheed.
I think it has to do with likely the fact that they tried to make this movie a little bit more dramatic and heavy than the animated film was.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And they thought it would have been culturally insensitive. I can honestly see them making I can see the justification for it being culturally insensitive on multiple fronts. Like, one, it's trying to be a serious dramatic movie. So you really don't want somebody you don't want a mythical creature that is cherished. That is that is
and shit.
Yeah, that is the comedic relief of the movie.
So, then they don't have to make that. They could just have they could have Smaug or whatever, however the fuck you say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're going to make a phoenix take the place of it because phoenixes Asian people don't know shit about phoenixes, so therefore it can't be culturally insensitive.
No, they do. Phoenixes are from that culture. They're from Asia.
So
and I think they said that having a dragon in it would have been. I think they said putting a dragon would have been perpetuating a stereotype.
Yeah.
I think that's what their main thing. They said putting a dragon in would have been perpetuating a stereotype. Chinese people putting dragons and everything. I think that's what I think that's what they said.
Well, yeah, I'm very dumb then, and I apologize because holy shit, it doesn't make any sense. I apologize.
I'm a little confused by that too, but that's okay. That's okay. We're learning, we're evolving.
Well, I think the thing Rasheed is saying is that it's cliche. Making it a dragon is cliche.
Right.
What if it were a panda? No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So they took. All right. Yeah. But so it's cliche. I get it. Culturally insensitive. That is directly if they're being incredibly accurate about every aspect of the culture.
It's just corporate wokeness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
now that makes sense. Well, we got to make something. We got to change something, you guys. We're all white. We can't hire somebody who's from anywhere other than our fucking bloodline.
Yeah. Just get Eddie Murphy back there and make him shuck and jive for the camera.
Right. Exactly.
Holy shit!
Speaking of culturally insensitive.
Oh my God! Okay, Chris has had enough. Everybody, Chimmer, we're going to the next topic.
No. We're still on this one. We're still on this one. Speaking of culturally insensitive, Rasheed, is the Hood going to react to Mulan?
Yes, the Hood fucks heavy with Mulan.
What?
Write it down.
I knew I'd get him to say it.
That was baiting. That doesn't count. You can't bait him.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta let it be natural, bro.
It didn't work with the other one.
You gotta let it be natural. But yes, the Hood loves Mulan. The Hood actually loves Mean Girls, by the way. No one
Everyone loves Mean Girls.
Yeah,
everyone
Mean Girls
loves
is
universal.
Mean Girls is a time.
Mean Girls. Mean Girls is the best movie to come out of the 20-aughts.
Yes, the Hood loves Mean Girls. The Hood loves Mean Girls. The Hood loves Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
The Hood loves Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And
Sonic?
Actually,
Sonic?
The Hedgehog?
No, the restaurant.
That's the
Hedgehog.
Yeah, the Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you: will they fucks with SpongeBob, which comes out in August?
Okay, not to be racist, but now that SpongeBob's gay, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Oh. Is SpongeBob gay?
Yeah.
Came out today.
Today, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
SpongeBob from Chimmer Chatter. Congratulations.
Also, I love the fact that they finally acknowledged that Korra is definitely. I mean, the show did it already, but Nickelodeon at large didn't necessarily.
This isn't for you, Chris.
Yeah,
this isn't for you.
This is one of those anime things.
This is the part where you can take a nap again.
Oh, okay.
I'm paying attention because I'm about to get into Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hell yeah! All right, now are we talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender or Korra? Because
I know that Korra is a character, and I also know that Korra had a spin-off show.
Yeah,
right?
but so in that little thing that they put up on Twitter, it was SpongeBob, a character that I don't know, and Korra. So but for years everyone has said like, yeah, no, SpongeBob is in the LGBTQ plus community, and no, they never acknowledge it. They finally fucking acknowledge it, even though they had him wearing dresses, being a wife to Patrick's husband numerous fucking times. Right. Like, come on, son. Like, just call it what it is. It's about fucking time.
Yeah.
That's one of the icons that I can see them gravitating towards. The icon that I can't see, I to this day, because I'm part of the community, I'm part of the B that's in the LGBTQ plus. I still don't know where the fuck the Babadook came from.
What?
I still don't get it. For some reason, everybody kept saying the Babadook is a gay icon, and I still don't get it.
I don't even know what it is. Chimmer, are you looking it up?
Movie?
Yeah, it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. Yeah, and he was a metaphor for grief.
So the reason, and this is my theory, I don't know if this is true, the reason that the Babadook is a gay icon is because, like gay people, like people in the movie, like the character in the movie represents society, right? And he represents grief, but also too, like, she's trying her best to just ignore him and pretend he doesn't exist the whole time. But the character still persists. Like, the character exists no matter how much she tries. And then at the end, like, spoiler alert, she locks it up in the basement, but it's still there.
Oh, shit. But see, but if that's the case, then that's sad, because the way that movie ends, she said, like, he's like, how is it today? He's like, oh, he's still there. Some days it's worse than others, but I feed it a little bit, and then he calms down. And
yeah, you don't feel that. Terrible. You don't feel that way about gay people? Like, yeah, sometimes they're a little worse than others, but you know what? They're there, and I love them.
Yeah, throw them a bone. Look, I feel like society is like, why are you gay so angry? Okay. We gave you Frank Ocean.
Listeners, I just want you to know that's a joke.
Yeah, that was definitely.
I am definitely an LGBTQIA plus ally, and absolutely somewhere on that spectrum. There's a letter for me in there.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a letter for me.
You've heard the way I talk. You familiarize yourself with my mannerisms. I'm somewhere on there.
As someone who is openly in the community, I will gladly say, Chris, no one with a cherub face such as yours is completely straight.
Yeah, it's not possible.
No one believes that. Yeah, it's not possible.
Especially, I honestly, like, I don't know if this is like a product of being in a long-term relationship for so long, but I definitely talk about attractive men way more than I talk about attractive women.
You do. Yes, you do.
Yes.
Like, significantly more.
Yes.
True.
Nothing is worse than being bi and watching the degradation of the fun shit you used to do in a relationship. Because, like, for like straight men with a straight woman, at the beginning of your relationship, you're comfortable enough with each other to be like, oh, that person's hot, and then like, oh yeah, she's cute. But now it's like I'm losing all of that. I'm losing. But now, as a bi guy,
he's so proud that he figured out how to set up a profile.
I had to Google how to do that.
Yes. Yeah, whenever we talk about shit that we know he can't get.
That's what I'm gonna put on.
Yes.
Hey, Rasheed, you know what we talked about earlier with the word liberate?
Yes.
You got to liberate this fucking podcast from Chimmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you come into Chimmer chattering about Chimmer in a bad way.
First off, can we just acknowledge the fact that he basically just cut a promo on all of us?
Yeah, really.
That was pretty tight.
I'm still very happy earlier today. This is a good time for a shameless plug. I love the video that I made today.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're doing a show this week. Well, today's the 13th. So we're doing a show on the 20th. Real show. Outside or
in
not? Is it outside or is it going to be inside?
No, it's going to be inside with 12 seats to give space for social distancing.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. We're all very happy that you asked us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I love working with all you guys. You guys are fun, and honestly, without being too sappy, you guys helped me get through like not only quarantine but like these past 2 weeks, because it's been really rough, man. Like, it's been really, really rough.
Why? What happened?
Rasheed, I just think it's very commendable that you gathered together every black comedian you know for this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, definitely. So I made that video real shit because I was feeling real punchy this morning. I woke up mad because like the shit that I told you about before, like with my wife and like how she's like dealing with blowback from the shit that I called out that was racist at another business. And I woke up this morning and I was like, yo, I'm about to go off and just be like, yo, everybody who has something ignorant to say towards my wife or wants to be a way towards my wife, you're a fucking coward. If you have something to say it to me. Don't take it out on somebody who was just attacked to the person who said it. So fuck y'all. And I was about to say it, but I'm like, you know what, bro? Let me focus on something else that I can just do with my hands.
Huh?
Like, yeah, ooh. Yes.
I did it right on time. Right on time.
Yeah.
It's cool that there's no sound, though.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want the podcast to get taken down.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I love...
Jose said you guys can't hear it anyway. Can you hear it?
Oh, well, then you didn't set it up in your settings properly.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay.
So,
I had to use Nobody Speak because that's
the perfect song.
Yeah, and just I love the fact like the hook says you want to hear a good joke. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then Nobody Speak, nobody gets choked.
Yep. Perfect example. Yeah. Like that should be for every heckler ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. That's how you.
Yeah.
How do I deal with virtual hecklers on your show there, Rasheed? That's one of the questions I had for you.
You can track an IPA. Track an IPA. IPA.
An IPA.
Track an IP.
You gotta get these white kids beers. Listen.
You just made Russom so happy.
That was so funny, dude.
I love that he said it twice.
Yeah. And then when he realized it, he was like, "Oh."
Oops. I saw Bill's face, and he was just like,
"Yeah."
You can track an IP, track their fucking house, and beat them with a sack of nickels in the living room. And that's how you deal with it. Hope you don't play that style. It just fuck up.
Well, going back to the thing you were talking about with like you and your wife, like I've noticed a lot of racists that are I might or might not be helping getting fired with screenshots.
Yeah.
As you should. Fuck them.
Yeah. Well,
I possibly have sent out several emails to several companies over the past few weeks.
It could be very alleged. I am showing you what's up. But like I've noticed, like, because the last couple that I tried to get screenshots of where they worked, allegedly. No, I 100% did. They all change it to like no school and no job. Like they're taking where they work and where they go to school. So like, and they're fucking like like their relationship. And it's like, okay, so you're gonna blast out the N-word on fucking Facebook and then be so scared to not give out your address. Like, because if you're gonna do that, like then like those are the type of people that will be like, come and fight me, Which
is funny. I just had that happen last month. Some dude called my wife a cunt on Facebook. And
well, in his
fairness to him.
Kim, if you ever watch this later, I had nothing.
Oh my god, we love Kim, but that was fucking great.
That was fucking good.
That was unreal.
We're like fucking lions jumping on the tip of the shell. I got one breakfast, got the other. Hold it on.
You guys are like a fucking pack of comedy raptors. Like I'm looking at the one in the front, but I need to worry about the two coming from the side.
Yep.
That was so great.
Some dude called my wife. Some dude called my wife a cunt on Facebook, and I messaged him. I'm like, "Yo, bro, I just want to talk about you calling my wife a cunt." And he was like, "Da, fuck you, fuck her too." I'm like, "Yeah, that's real cool. What's your address, man?"
Yeah.
Like he's like, "What?" I'm like, "What's your address?" Like I'm just trying to fight you right quick. Like,
yeah.
Right. I'm just trying to beat your ass real quick. Like that's all it is. Like I just just call it a day. He's like, fuck you, and he tried calling me the N-word, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't hurt me because I knew that's where you were gonna go.
Right.
That didn't bother me. And he was like, get in my field and pick my cotton. I'm like, I promise you don't own the property you live on, so it doesn't matter to me. But like, he was doing all this shit. And then the way I finished him, the way I killed it was apparently my wife like did some digging into his like background, and he liked to send like unsolicited pictures of his dick to like women both of age and under.
Oops.
So I called him. I was like, "Yo, bro, you like to send pictures of your dick out? Like, yo, bro, let me see it." I'm like, "Let me see it." Yeah. He was like, "What?" I'm like, "Let me see your dick." By the way, Shane Hoffer, that's his name. Fuck him.
Damn.
I was like, "Let me see your dick." He's like, "What?" I'm like,
There's
come
other
on, bro,
situations where you have said that phrase, Rasheed. I just want that to be put out in the lexicon.
What? Let me see your dick.
That's not the first time you said it.
Dude, all right, do not lie on this podcast. I have never in my life told somebody, "Let me see your dick." There's some
right.
It's
It's
"Let me see it." But
no,
like
it's
give me that.
Let me see that dick. Let me see that dick.
Yeah.
Let me see that dick.
I'm more of a let me get that. I'm more of a.
Let me get in there.
Hey,
Motherfucker diving into a fucking bucket of dick. Let me at it.
You took a napkin in your shirt just to get ready. Just
fucking fork and knife.
Let me at it.
Not gonna lie, there have been some dicks that I've wanted to see for purely scientific purposes,
That
just to see, like, does the dick match up to who it's attached to?
Yeah, get that dick over here.
Get that dick over here.
Unfurl that piece. Let me see.
Did you just try to scorpion a dick? Get over here.
Just grab it.
Come here.
This is coming with me.
It's either coming with me or it's coming off.
Oh my god, dude! But like, yeah, like I'm like, yo, like let's just get this fight over with. Like, let me just beat your ass real quick.
How many fights have you been in your life, Rasheed?
Quite a few. I've been kicked out of numerous schools growing up, like way too many. Like, I think my record is being kicked out of a school in 9 days after admittance.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a Catholic school too.
Trying to grab some dicks.
Well, no, to be fair,
yeah, you had a dick grabbing contest. They were mad you won.
Yeah.
Like, why is he cuter than me? It's not fair.
Like to be fair, I tried to get kicked out of that school. I broke every rule that I could think of. This is the time when they were selling those sneakers that had inline skates in the bottom of them, not the Heelys, but they came with 2 skates attached.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they specifically knew that this was a thing.
Them shits
and
transformed.
Said, fuck yeah! And I specifically wore them to school and was skating through the halls, and I bumped into a statue of the Virgin Mary, knocked it over, and broke it.
Whoops! Holy shit!
Yeah, holy
shit! You not only got kicked out of Catholic school, but out of Catholic heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they told
you're
you no,
screwed.
Which is fine, because any heaven that is so rudimentary that I need a necklace to count my prayers, I probably don't need to be there.
Yeah.
It really helps though. As you get older, those beads really help.
Wait, does anybody remember that weird phase of hip hop where a rosary was a fashion accessory?
Yeah.
Like everybody was wearing the rosaries and the cuffiyers, like the I had 3. I'm not gonna lie, I had 3 cuffiyers.
God, like 900 of them.
Rasheed, your African necklace is mysteriously absent during this time of civil unrest.
I have it right here. I haven't been wearing it because it's kind of like
you wanted to pass yourself off as a Dominican. I get it.
Undercover.
Yeah, just in case.
I play baseball.
I'm glad you said it, because I was like on the cusp.
Yeah.
I was just about to say it.
Somebody pulls me over like, no que sí, papi, I'm making some escoquitos.
You know that needs. You know what? Write it down.
What,
That
my Dominican
that needs to
accent?
find its way to stage. You pretend to be Dominican.
Claro, no, que sí, papi, no, no.
Where are you coming from, son? Oh, me no.
Yeah. Wait.
I come home from making I come home from making my grandmother say me nice coquita.
Now you turn it into Keenan Ivory Brains being David Ortiz.
But which, by the way, I just want to shout out to all my people of color. It is almost coquito season, so get your shit on. Like,
Doesn't coquito mean little?
No, coquito. It's a drink.
Coquito.
Yeah, it's a good ass drink.
Oh, is it?
Get you one, bro. Get you a coquito. I think it's more of a fall thing. It's not really a summer thing. It's a fall thing.
Is that like a
yeah, he really is from the hood. You call a Huggy a quarter water. God damn.
That's what they.
No,
wait,
that's a coal region thing too.
We all have our strengths.
I just call them. Wait, all right. So I called them Huggies. What did y'all call them?
Huggies.
We call them Huggies. You call them Huggies?
We call them grenades.
Yeah, but when you get some of the when you get to a certain age, you can't call them Huggies anymore. It feels strange.
Yeah, let me get a Huggy.
And that's when quarter water comes into play. And it ain't water. It's flavored anyway.
It's flavored
it's
water.
It's not flavored. It's colored.
Yeah. Wait, it's colored and there's sugar in it.
Now hold on. Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute.
What are we doing here?
I apologize. It's African American water.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the kind of love you get from Chimmer Chatter, where we all like each other, except I heard Chris Williams doesn't like Bill Russell.
Shit.
He mispronounced both of our last names.
I don't know.
Podcast gonna work.
I don't know anything about Chris Williams. I can't speak for him. But
I can't help it. I've never met a William.
No, that's not why you do it.
Oh, which, by the way, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say the organization, but the where I was today, the way that they handled the whole situation was weird.
The WIC
office. At the WIC office.
Not there. Okay.
The way that they handled the situation was weird, and it was funny to me because I'm like, you're doing all this shit, and you don't remember that I'm the guy who called you yesterday trying to give you money.
Right.
Like, you don't remember that.
Right. Have you ever put on a protest? There's a lot of different things happening at once.
I've done a couple protests.
Give them the benefit of the doubt. They just got out of high school, and now they have to cure racism.
But no, the PS5. All right, so you guys saw it. Are you guys excited? I don't know how.
I think it's beautiful. Yeah. I've never been sexually attracted to an electronic device before.
Yeah, well, it definitely makes me feel like
it looks a lot like a labia.
Yeah, it really do.
I get labia vibes.
I'm definitely gonna part it.
I'm scared of what it's gonna be.
Honestly, it looks very robotic to me. Like the first, it just reminds me. It looks like the future. It's Detroit Become Human.
Yes, but
perfect.
Especially the controller.
Yeah, the controller was the first thing I was like, ooh.
My big concern is that it's not going to fit in my entertainment center.
Well, you can get the one that doesn't have
so they haven't given out dimensions, but Chimmer, can you go 3 down from the one you're currently on? Right there. So if you look compared to the disk drive size of that versus the PlayStation 4,
that is fairly large.
It's like about 1 inch to 1.5 inches larger, they're guessing.
Well, I mean,
yeah. I
feel like the PS4 kind of had the same dimensions though, didn't it?
No, this is definitely taller. Like unless the controller is not to scale.
Right.
And the disk drive is not to scale. This is like a fair amount larger than the PS4.
I mean, yeah, that's and honestly, the build kind of gives me
like you see what I mean? Like when you look at the controllers, like next to the systems.
Yeah, and that's
the one right up above.
I feel like, yeah, go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Yeah, definitely.
It's much taller.
Actually, the controller looks bigger now too.
Yeah, the controller is from what I've heard, the controller is closer to the size of an Xbox controller than it is a PlayStation.
And Xbox controllers are fucking massive.
Yeah,
they're very large.
It's definitely bigger.
Massive.
And they're
but they
large
had to make
and in charge.
They had to make they had to make the controller they had to make the controller larger to fit all the haptics inside.
Oh yeah. Hey, Chimmer, you're showing a fake.
Yeah, that is not the real PS5, dude.
Yeah.
That's not it either.
No. That's PS4 controller. Yeah.
So this is just those two top, just that top one.
Yeah, that looks like.
I mean, but like, I don't know how.
Like side-by-side comparison.
I don't know how excited I am yet because a lot of the games that they demoed or like they previewed aren't games that I need to be excited for, except for Spider-Man. Yeah. But like 2K21, I'm sorry. Look, as a black person, I'm never gonna stop buying 2K games. I'm not. But like, somebody pointed it out perfectly. It's like, dude, these motherfuckers have been giving you the same game with an updated roster and sweatier characters for the past like
and they honestly even look like worse over the past few generations.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with like the demo they did with Zion Williamson. I was not impressed with what they did with
but like 2K20 looks worse than 2K17 in my opinion.
Yeah, and 2K19 to me looked better than 2K20.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's like a degradation there that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
that didn't need to happen.
I think we need to see like a massive overhaul of sports games. Like,
yeah, first off, drop Skate 4. Fuck the bullshit.
They're putting out Skate 4.
No, they haven't, and they haven't been. They need to drop Skate 4. Stop playing with my fucking emotions. I want Skate 4.
Yeah. I want a new good Tony Hawk game.
But that's the thing. I don't need a remastered Tony Hawk game. Give me.
Well, no. I'm saying like what I want is I want a good one. Yeah, I want Tony Hawk 1 or Tony Hawk 2, like not the remake because I already have that pre-ordered. I'm saying like I want Tony Hawk 6 to be like as good as those games were.
Because remember, they dropped that weird slew of games that like they thought were gonna be amazing, but weren't.
Like Shred and American Wasteland or some shit.
Yeah. Like American Wasteland was okay, but
American Wasteland was pretty good. Underground and Underground 2 were decent.
Yeah. But Project 8 was trash.
I liked Project 8. I thought it was really good, and I thought it was one of the better Tony Hawk soundtracks too.
The soundtrack was solid, and like the concept was good too. One.
But I thought I liked the open world. I thought like
that is true.
Like Tony Hawk's Project 8 walked so Skate could run.
That is true. What? No, didn't Skate 1 and 2 I think came out. No, Skate 1 came out first.
And then, Skate 1 beefed it though. Skate 1 sucked.
Yeah, my thing was I liked the concept of it. Like there wasn't like this weird fucking storyline where you were trying to like stop the man from some shit. Project 8 was like literally, no, you want to get on Tony Hawk's new skate team.
You want to be one of the best, one of the top 8 skaters in America.
Yeah, and it was a dope concept that made perfect sense. Mm-hmm. It didn't have to do any weird shit. Not to mention the graphics that they had on the 360, because I could see there's an Xbox, like original Xbox box there, but the graphics on the 360, those graphics changed shit for me.
Yeah, it was pretty dramatic. The graphics were pretty significant.
Well, was that scroll back up, Chimmer? Because you can see
I love how as an old guy he's like
third one in, the one you're right above. Yeah, that's original Xbox.
So it came out. It came out on the cusp between the two generations.
I think that was like one of the first games for 360.
Yeah.
This is the fucking beginning of the game. You're playing a tutorial, bro.
Yeah, but like Project 8 was dope, and Siwa, you're right. The soundtrack was definitely solid, but let's be real. You can't really say, I don't think anyway, that any Tony Hawk game had a weak soundtrack. Like they were all better than most game soundtracks. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's because just like music and skateboarding is kind of hand in hand, like they go together perfectly. Like so many people discovered bands from watching like skate videos and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like like I would say, although I will say in my heart of hearts, I can't lie, for game soundtracks, for me, it's number 3, the Tony Hawk series. Number 2, Madden and 2K, like NFL 2K had like great, the soundtracks. But the best soundtracks in any game, I would say it's a tie between the NBA Street series, and honestly the 2K series.
NFL Street.
Oh yeah, NFL Street. Yeah, true.
But like NFL Street was like very important to like NFL Street and NBA Street were like my introductions into rap music. Like
even for me it was too. I didn't know who Pete Rock was until NBA Street. I didn't even know who Pete Rock was.
Yeah.
You guys are forgetting like GTA 5 had really great shit, and also Far Cry. Yeah, I think Far Cry 5 had Run the Jewels.
Yeah, Far Cry 5.
And also fucking go ahead.
I was gonna say GTA had the Tyler the Creator radio station.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I actually have those songs like saved on my Spotify.
But like, those both like those do not feel like, and that's probably why you guys both missed it, because they're not. It's not the soundtracks. It's like what you can actively listen to as the player.
Yeah.
Like, or you're walking up and you hear like fucking, who's them fuckers? Fucking, oh god damn it, D'Antwood. Word. Antword. They're like, that's in Far Cry 5. Like, and it's like the bad guys are like listening to it and jamming out and like killing people and like cutting their dicks off and shit.
By the way, Run the Jewels. Real quick, Run the Jewels is amazing.
I'm in the middle of recording. I gotta go.
Laying down the law real quick.
Oh no, you can't. You cannot. No, this is live. I got it. Like, you can't do it. I'm sorry.
Tell him he's gay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're. The look on your face, I thought someone just entered your room with a gun.
Right, Roshan. You're like, whoa. Wait, you look like fucking Adam 22 or whatever the fuck his name is, when like somebody tried to rob his like podcast in the middle of recording. Like that was the face. Yeah, like I was actually with Yeti Krisnowski today, and we were talking about RTJ.
Chairman's back.
Oh god! Oh, because we were talking about hip hop.
It felt like you guys were moving away from the PS5 into more navigable waters. Navigable? Navigable.
But long story short, the PS5 looks good. The PS5 looks dope, and shout out to Sony, even though I'm not into congratulating corporations for anything. They were at least respectful of what happened and delayed the release, like the launch, like the release of the info during the protest. So they were at least respectful for that. So I gotta give them props for that, even though there's nobody on their board of directors that's black. So I don't really believe in their support anyway.
Yeah.
Bill Russom, Chris William, exciting new project coming up less than a month. Tell us about the pod.
Spit that shit.
Bill, I came to Bill with a podcast idea, and I was literally, the way it came about is my fiance and I were driving home from the grocery store, and I started chuckling to myself, and she goes, "What?" I was like, I should start a hip-hop podcast, right? Like, wouldn't that be ridiculous? Somebody who looks like me and sounds like me talking about hip-hop.
Yeah. Is that just floating around in your head?
Because it's like, it is my favorite genre of music. It is certainly like, when I look back over the years, like, yeah, there's like indie bands or punk, like punk music is also super important to me. But like hip-hop is the only genre where I like actively seek out new artists regularly and like, and am growing my listener base, like, or my band base, like
the stuff you like.
There's more and more artists I'm adding to that constantly. Like right now, besides RTJ, which is like my number one, Denzel Curry is like my number two. Like I love Denzel Curry so much.
Real fucking. What was that album Imperial that he dropped a couple years ago? That was like amazing.
So good. He's one of the best there is right now. And but so like I'm driving home and I'm like, that would be pretty ridiculous, right? And she was like, yeah, it would be, but like you could like handle it. And I was like,
pull it off.
Yeah. So then I was like, I just randomly I was just like, man, White Men Can't Bump would be just such a good name.
Damn,
for a hip hop podcast. And that's literally like it just came to me, and I was like, yeah, I have to. Like once I had the name, I was like, I definitely have to do this just because it's such a good name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you can't let a good name go to waste.
No, you got to make a project to like fill that void.
Yeah.
So of course, I was like, well, it's white men, so I have to find another white man.
Yes.
That I can talk about hip hop with. And that's when I came to Bill with the idea. And I was like, Bill, I thought this name was great. Do you want to do a hip hop podcast with me?
I even say like I would like to go on record and say even before you got to the first part where you're like, I want a hip hop podcast called White Men Can't Bump. And I was like sucking your dick about it. I was like, oh my God, can I please do this?
Yeah.
I messaged A-List. I was like, look, just because I'm going to do a podcast with Chris doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing a podcast with you. The whole 9 yards. Like I was like begging for everybody to like, let me do this. And she allowed it. Just
so first week of July.
I was going to make a joke, but you talked over it. It's all good.
Sorry, go ahead, Bill.
No, I don't remember. It was going to be a stupid joke, so it's fine.
This is the kind of back and forth we're going to be looking for.
And as two white people who are going to be speaking to the hip hop community, I'm going to need you to fulfill your duty and tell Tekashi 6ix9ine to suck a dick at least twice every episode.
That's a
that's a big ask. That's a big ask. What if they want to?
I can proudly say that. Well, first of all, I can proudly say I would never want Tekashi 6ix9ine as a guest. No snitching. There's no.
I would like to see that hair up close. Please,
the fucking school teacher understands the rule of no snitching better than someone who was raised in New York in the street.
But also, I can proudly say that Gooba is the first song I've ever heard by Tekashi 6ix9ine.
You're okay. I'm not gonna lie. The fucking the song
you loved it and Josh loved it. We even talked about it.
I hated that song because he was like so happy about the fact that he was out of jail and embracing the fact that he was a fucking snitch. Fuck you, dude.
You were the one that tried to talk me out of him being a snitch because you said they ran a train on his baby mama.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. That was
no. I don't give a fuck, bro. Like,
I came to the more of the middle because of Josh's points.
You lived that life,
Chris,
bro.
Just admit you can't tell them apart.
Yeah.
No, one's super skinny and one's fat. You heard me.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to get this joke off, and I'm only gonna say it because I fucks with him heavy. Me and Josh are a lot like Keenan and Kel. One of us is skinny and the other is going to have a career in 5 years.
I would like to say, Joshua, I miss you. Come back and fuck him up.
I'm going to just say.
How frequently are you going to do the show, guys?
We had discussed variations, and I don't want it to be weekly because I feel like that's just oversaturation. There isn't enough new music released for it to be
especially
weekly.
right now.
So I'm thinking monthly at first. About
What's
a 2
the big
hour
season for hip hop? Like when does all the new music come out? Is it seasonal?
Normally it would be in the summer. A lot of people drop shit in the summer and winter.
Yeah. Usually like November and like May, you'll see big album drops. Because they're trying to hit that holiday bump and then that summer jam.
Yeah, everybody wants to be that song bumping like while people are driving around.
Yeah.
They want that summer anthem. Like
so
they want to get that anthem thing going.
So as of right now, my idea is about a 2-hour show once a month.
Are you going to start with older stuff, or are you going to work right into what's going on today?
We're going to do a split. Bill and I have talked about this, but I want to split the show sort of in half where we discuss what we've been bumping. So like the stuff we've been listening to lately, or like the stuff that's important to us, our must plays, the always rotation, like shit like that. And then have like a break in the middle and then talk about new releases. Yeah. So what albums recently came out or singles recently came out that you love, you know, what's important to you, what's doing, you know, what's going to stick with you, what's really powerful, stuff like that.
One can assume that there'll be a whole episode devoted to snow.
Oh man, fucking snow, dude.
Can you guys do a throwback episode just talking about Ice JJ Fish for a little bit? Like I want a throwback episode about Ice.
That's a deep cut. What the fuck is an Ice JJ Fish?
You don't know Ice JJ Fish?
Chris is too old for this, guys.
Yeah, you know, he was one of the first internet. He was like one of the first like viral guys to go viral because they suck. Like he was like, let's be honest, he was the original Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he went viral. He went viral because he sucked.
Wait, who's the fucking burst guy and the other song? Yeah. No. Is that what we're talking about? Like the guy like, taking off our shirts, about to make these rifle bursts. Like that guy.
It's not that guy.
No, I know, but I mean, like, okay.
Ice JJ Fish is like an actually worse version of him.
Wow.
Yeah, like he tries to sing and he's terrible, and he hates when people tells him that he's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hates it. But
Bill, you were wrong. It was not long neck whatever guy. It's this guy, Slim Jesus.
Wait, hold on. No, didn't I say Slim Jesus at first? I said Slim Jesus at first.
This guy is the funniest guy on the internet.
I thought you were actually talking about long neck because long neck's funnier than him.
But I fell into a deep dive with the long neck guy. I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's great. He's way better than fucking Whoa Vicky.
But that's the Jesus kid. He's so funny looking, and then he's rapping that funny way. Oh, it's just
wasn't Whoa Vicky running around with that little the little Asian girl like
yeah.
No, they talk about these guys on the bonfire all the time. That's the only reason I know what you're talking about right now.
Was Slim Jesus, Lil Debbie?
No, Whoa Vicky and Danielle Brugier or whatever her name is.
Well, yeah, because they got into a fight. Like they
they did.
Whoa Vicky whooped her ass in a recording studio one day.
I saw it. It was on TMZ.
I was so happy about it because I fucking hate. Like,
let's call it Bad Baby,
right? Whatever the fuck.
You want to do it right?
I feel like all these little like internet meme rappers need to get their ass whooped.
Well, and that's going to be part of the show too, is talking about like hip hop news related stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Will there be a section that highlights SoundCloud rappers? I hear that's an important part of the music industry
right now.
Yeah.
I think there's potential that it could fall into the new music section, but
I'm not actively.
If I can find my college recordings, will you play them on your show?
God.
I would happily.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I'd jump out this window before I gave you those fucking things.
Chris, how many times did you say the N-word in those songs?
Not a one, but I like to say ridiculous. I don't know why, but I said it quite often.
Like in the Busta Rhymes style? Like
kinda. I would say I was a cross between Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott. That's where that was my lane.
Yeah, in the sense that you were overweight and nobody could tell what you were saying.
And also,
I was so thin and beautiful, Chris. You would have said, "Let me get that dick." You would have. I was beautiful.
I'm gonna be honest. Awesome. I used to want to be.
It doesn't get old.
Two things. One, I want you guys to do a count of how many days we have gone without that Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole collab album, because I still want that shit. Yes. But two, I'm gonna be honest, and I've never mentioned this to anybody I've done comedy with because I wanted you guys to respect me. I used to want to be a rapper, and my dream was to make the XXL freshman cover.
Well, yeah, you're black. That's like every kid.
True. My rap name was Nova, And
CBS show, sure.
My mixtape was gonna be Supernova.
Well, that's
So,
fantastic wordplay.
I'm looking at C-Will's face, and he's counting the jokes in his head. He's forming them in his head.
That's why I haven't told him my rap name. Keep going.
And it was Renaissance Man. We all know.
Oh,
yeah, you've told us before, Chris.
You snitch.
No, you can't snitch on shared info.
And my
public knowledge ain't snitching.
Right. And one of the first songs I ever recorded. I have like a couple recorded songs. They were all stolen beats.
We made our own beats. What?
And one
That's
of the
because there was no internet back then, Chimmer.
I know.
Where you stealing beats from?
Fruity Loops.
I could have Napstered one.
Listen, the only beats you were stealing back when you were rapping was from the old Czechoslovakian lady down the street.
I had Napster. We could have figured it out.
And the two songs that I'm least proud of, I opened one song with, quote, yeah, bitch, I'm big in Japan. Never left Delaware County at that point.
Wow.
And
it's good wordplay, though.
Although, seriously, you would be rather large in Japan. I mean,
that's the wordplay, Chris. Thank you for
I don't think he knew that. I don't think he knew.
I did a freestyle over Childish Gambino's Bonfire.
I love that song. Fantastic song. Really doesn't hold up well, but fantastic song.
I wanted to outdo the nerdy weird factor of Bino at that point. So when he said it's Childish Gambino, girlie, drop it like the NASDAQ.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is the worst thing I've ever said. I said, it's Nova Shorty, you know me, girlie, drop it like the World Trade. And
I like it.
Judges, they're unsure. They don't know.
I'm so ashamed that I said that on a record.
I will say, nerd rap it's crazy how far it's come, because like Childish Gambino was like unique when he was doing it, like, you know, almost 10 years ago.
Wouldn't Lupe Fiasco be that? Or no?
Lupe Fiasco wasn't nerdy. He was a skater. There's a difference.
He was He was backpack rap more than anything.
Yeah, he was definitely a backpacker. But Denzel Curry is a great example of like nerd rap now. Like he is like the nerdiest rapper possibly in the game right now, but also like one of the toughest motherfuckers in the game right now. Like I would not fuck with him.
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, although I will say there was definitely a hella fucking nerd, but I love the nerd culture that Lupe brung. The nerd culture that Lupe brung, because two things that he said that has always stuck in my head. One, I think it was on the Cool album. It was Gold Chain.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I love Street Fighter 2. I just really hate Blanka. Only Ken and Ryu. I find it hard to beat Zangief. Which I'm like, as a nerd, fair. Zangief is very hard to beat.
Where is Mac 10? What the fuck? Why are people getting away with this?
He's saying, oh no.
And he said on a mixtape, have you guys ever listened to the Lupe mixtapes, like the Enemy of the State?
I used to be a huge Lupe fan.
Me too. He said, I think it was on.
I like the kick push song.
I think it was on Friend of the People. He said, I take it back for you like the Wild Stallions of Sam Bemis. And I'm like, holy shit, that's
another summer blockbuster, Bill and Ted. There you go. Good tie-in, Rasheed.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for that.
Chimmer, if you've never listened to Denzel Curry, check out on YouTube. He has a version where he does a cover of Killin' in the Name of.
Ooh.
It's incredible.
I gotta see. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Phenomenal. It's like
I like anyone named Denzel.
Yeah, he is really good, and like he's also like 22 right now. Like
fuck,
he's insane. He started when he was 16, and like his mixtapes were.
He's really young, and he's already established or whatever.
Super big out of Miami,
okay.
but he's also like gigantic nerd. Like like he references like Dragon Ball Z or video games or like various different things in every song. But he also has a song, Ricky. You'd love that song, Chimmer.
Okay.
You would love the song Ricky.
Isn't
Is
he
it
also
about
like
Boys in the Hood?
It is about Boys in the Hood.
Yes.
I like it already. I like it. I like that they're simplifying it for older folks.
Isn't he like wildly independent too?
Yes.
Like super independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go like for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Are we still gonna be here? Okay.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Also, quick, I'm trying to get a sponsor first. That Terrence K. Williams rant was brought to you by Jim Beam Peach.
It's interesting that you say that.
Oh,
it's interesting that you say that because this.
Here it is.
The Blackface of the Week is sponsored by Boo Chew. It'll make your dick work.
I gotta go pee pee. I'll be
Go
right
ahead.
back.
We'll back and forth for a little bit.
Yes.
Rasheed, these guest hosts was fun. It's a good time.
I love it. Look, dude.
But we also.
Speaking of, so
are they doing the MTV Awards? Because I was hoping we could talk about it. Are they doing it this year?
I don't think there's been enough like videos to really. Let's be honest, bro. Like there hasn't been any. And all the videos.
Oh wait, hold on.
All the videos that get nominated. What?
This is important.
What?
She's a smoke show.
No, ew, no.
She
I'm not gonna.
She is not bad, my friend.
No,
easy on the. I tell you what, Murdoch was a maniac, but the whole good-looking girls to tell the news thing, it works. I wouldn't have known who that was.
I'm not gonna sit here and body shame her or anything, but I will say this: me as a person,
I don't think she's gonna see this.
Your personality can make you look physically ugly to me. Mm-hmm. Like if you have an ugly personality, you look ugly to me physically. And
I can say definitively, I've never heard her speak a word. I've
heard her.
My TVs are on mute all the time.
I've heard her talk, and it's nothing but bullshit. It's nothing but pure bullshit.
Well, that's fine. She was wearing this red number the other day.
You know how I like my ladies silent.
Who was the one that Michelle Wolf made fun of? Who did Michelle Wolf make fun of? Who was the person?
That was the older one, isn't that? She's the daughter of somebody.
Oh, Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders. That was the one. Like
she had Jim Peach's face.
But you know what? I like Sarah Huckabee Sanders at least because at least she looked like she didn't give a fuck what she was telling you.
You know who she looked like?
And she's expecting you to eat it up. Like,
she looked like Miss Trunchbull from
a young Miss Trunchbull.
What show's that?
From Matilda. It's a movie.
Oh, I got a better one. Remember in A League of Their Own?
No, you don't.
The girl that didn't talk? You son of a bitch, Chris Williams. You've been out to sabotage me all day. You mother.
Look, they bolstered me. I'm gonna liberate this podcast from you eventually. I'm gonna mutiny your shit.
Honestly, why not? Why not just wait until I die next month?
I'm gonna put a firecracker in your Newport. Wait till you smoke it and watch you have a heart attack.
Oh. Don't get him started on Elmer Fudd not having guns.
I'm gonna make you.
Why doesn't? He's a hunter. Okay.
I'm gonna make you do the Fred Sanford chest graph and watch you.
Oh, I fucking love it.
There she is.
All right. Yeah, I get it.
B. Sanders, Chris Williams, Chris William. Damn it! Why isn't there an S in your name?
Because there's another comedian I know named Chris Williams.
So I'm gonna keep making mistakes because of him. Where is he? I'll get rid of him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
This is
hit him with a hammer. You are making my podcast difficult. No.
So this is something that Chris will definitely give me shit for. Guess where we're thinking about going to? Guess where we're thinking about going back to in July?
Colonial Williamsburg.
What's the whitest place I can think of?
Disney.
No, whiter than that.
Whiter than that.
Connecticut.
But in the same state.
Salem.
I would say Maine or
Oh no. I'll tell him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Universal Theme Parks. About the Harry Potter.
Right. Oh my God.
No.
Tell them about all the what's it called? What kind of beer is it? What kind of beer do they have at Harry Potter?
Butterbeer, and they have Hog's Head.
Did you get your own wand?
I do. I do have my own.
Do you draw a little lightning bolt on your forehead?
I never do that. Yo, real shit. The first time I went to Harry Potter World. There were people in the summer wearing full fucking Harry Potter cloaks. The heavy, thick cotton bitches, like running through the park, and I'm like,
they didn't. Die. They didn't smell good before they put on the clothes.
Not to mention all the people that you didn't see who had the invisible cloaks on.
Yeah, I've been shut up. I've been to many Ren fairs. Guess what?
Yeah, no. They took them bitches off and they smelled like possessed Cheetos. Like it was bad.
Do you know I once got on the NFL Network they had a picture of Harry Potter at a football game, and somebody had just gotten suspended for something, and I wrote that my quote was, "I guess I won't be seeing my invisibility cloak anytime soon," and they put it on TV, and the one guy goes, "Oh, that's cold." So that was a very exciting moment in my life.
Yeah, I got on. I had a tweet of mine shared during the 2012 presidential debates.
Really?
For real?
Yeah. What I was live tweeting the presidential debates, and I tweeted, "quote unquote binders full of women is what Mitt Romney calls the corner of his basement where he keeps his 16 other wives."
And they shared that?
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
First off,
yeah.
I need to follow you on Twitter. You're gonna hate my Twitter, but I'll follow you on Twitter. You're gonna hate my Twitter.
Yeah,
okay.
It's all like I hate Chris William. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's him just at like an old prospector ring and hat stomping on him and saying my name. Rats of frosted, gosh dang, rats of frosted, no good, damn dirty rat, Chris William.
Oh my God.
Chris William, you might be the only one. You might be the only one to get this, but I once Facebooked, how bad do the Oakland Raiders want to win? They've got 90-year-old Charles Woodson returning punts. And Charles Woodson, no shit, wrote, "Man, that's cold as shit." Or he's like, "Come on, man." I'm so sorry, sir. I'm a bit of a Weisenheimer.
That's so good. That's so funny.
Okay, so we need to do a running count of how much old shit that he says.
Come on. That Weisenheimer's just a funny word. That's just.
What are you out here cracking wise?
Right. No, Weisenheimer is a funny word. In 1902,
I declare that it is still a funny word to this
I
day.
Declare, once again, I declare, not another one.
Did we go over Tarnation? Did we talk about that?
We talked about Tarnation.
You said that one was okay. I feel weird every time I say it.
Oh, by the way, we forgot when we were talking about like blockbusters dropping on Disney Plus. We forgot next month Hamilton drops.
Yeah, my kids are super excited. My girls are super stoked.
Well, I already have a fucking cam rip of Hamilton. I've had it for like
allegedly.
Allegedly, I may or may not have a cam rip of the original cast of Hamilton, and allegedly, I may or may not have played it in my apartment to allegedly throw a rent party so I could keep my apartment.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wait a second. A rent party?
Not the Broadway musical.
No.
It was a different musical.
Yeah. And by the way, I know all the words to Rent and all the words to Hamilton, even though I haven't seen it. My fucking girls sang it for like a fucking year and a half. It was awful.
I know.
What's
got some woke ass kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really like it.
I'm a
What's
huge
a
fan
rent
of,
party? Is it what it sounds like? You raise money to pay your rent?
Yeah. I charge people.
I could have not been homeless.
Allegedly, because I had something that people wanted.
You had the Hamilton soundtrack?
I allegedly had the play, the musical.
Like on a handheld. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
bootleg is what we used to call it, Rasheed.
Yeah.
Is the play coming out on Disney Plus the original cast? Because I'm just dying to see. Okay, I'm just dying to see Daveed Diggs as Lafayette.
This is gonna be the first time I'm gonna watch it with my girls. It'll be the first time I ever saw it.
Same. I've not seen it.
I've listened to it several times, but I haven't seen it.
I've seen Daveed Diggs as Lafayette, like allegedly in that cam. And he's as good as you think he is.
He's a phenomenal rapper. If you've never listened to Clipping,
fuck yeah, no, I love Clipping. Did you see the Hamilton freestyle that they did for the BET Awards?
Yeah,
he's a beast. But to tie in with shit that's going on, Lin-Manuel Miranda finally called himself out for some shit.
Yeah,
like for years.
What could the grandfather of the woke movement possibly have?
That's the fucking problem. He has always voiced support for the LGBTQ plus community, but he has never publicly spoken out in support of Black lives. Who created the fucking genre? I thought you
were gonna say he's never fucked a gay guy. How could you do that?
But who created the fucking genre on which his best fucking work is based upon? And he finally put up a video the other day. He's like, look, I'm sorry personally for never speaking up and saying anything. I was silent and I was wrong. I am apologizing. I was wrong on behalf of Hamilton. And so he did it. And so I'm like, congratulations, but I don't know how much I buy into it because I'm like, you're doing this now when everyone else is expressing support when you could have done this, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Are you telling me that Jesse from Breaking Bad it's not enough? You saw the video.
That video was so bullshit. Angry. I didn't even watch it.
He was so angry, Rasheed, for you. And not for nothing, I'm not apologizing until we get it in writing that I get the white savior treatment. And you will
never get the white savior treatment. Yes.
I agree. But also, this was the other point that I forgot about Chappelle, is that when I went to watch,
that gave me whiplash.
I know. So when I went to watch I went onto YouTube and I typed in Chappelle, and then basically what happened is that it gives me the video, the actual special that he did, but the whole point that he was making at the end, where it's why do you want to hear from me? It doesn't I don't have shit to say that the streets aren't saying. Right. Listen to the streets. So then but the video, so I hit back, and then so you have the the special, and then the video that I skipped over and didn't even realize I skipped over was titled "Dave Chappelle Breaks His Silence on George Floyd," and it's this is exactly why he didn't do shit, because the second he says something,
it becomes about him.
Yeah. Oh, Dave Chappelle finally broke his silence. It's stupid idiot. Watch the thing and then don't write that article.
It's exactly what happened when John Boyega went to the protest.
Yes, exactly.
And I had to break that down to Josh earlier when I was talking to him about it. I'm like, if he came out and started speaking about it from jump, or went to a protest or whatever, people would stop thinking about what they're there for, and it would now become about him. And he realized that if I do that, this message is not going to get out. I need to sit back and let them speak for themselves, right? So it doesn't become about me.
Yeah, exactly. And and the thing is that if you're a celebrity in America and you're worried that you're gonna look like a bandwagon jumper, you don't do that by being John Boyega or Dave Chappelle. You do that by being all those motherfuckers in that fucking video, that black and white. Yeah, we're not going to take it anymore, guys. I promise this time. Oh, right. I promise. Yeah, don't worry. Remember the last time we did something very similar to this? Right. We're not going to do it again. I promise. Motherfucker, you have millions of dollars.
To any
bail people out.
Right. Look, to any motherfucker that was in that video, I say throw back a tear gas canister so I know it's real. That's how I feel.
Yo,
throw a
like
tear gas canister.
Here's a great idea. Use your platform,
and
all of you don't make a video. All of you decide, hey, we're not gonna fucking act until
some shit changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we're not gonna Steven Spielberg is like, we're not making movies until
this shit changes.
Exactly, and then the fucking
his
world would
daughter's half
actually
black.
Spielberg.
Maybe.
Yeah. By the way, I told Rasheed that I'm doing the love and listen thing, and he told me that I found the laziest way to assist.
Yes, that is it. He found the one form of protest that requires him to literally do nothing.
Yeah, that's
I'm doing my part, Rasheed.
You know what? Fuck the tear gas canister thing. Although I would love that. You want me? If you're a celebrity and you want me to really believe that you support the movement, how about this? You get the link to donate to Black Lives Matter. Put that in your tweets. Make that your pinned tweet for a year.
Yeah.
Make that your pinned tweet for a year. I might buy it.
Yeah. How about make it your? Oh, that was gross. I just burped, inhaled. Disgusting. I got a great idea. How about do it forever? Like
do it for fucking ever.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I think you're asking too much.
We're at the point where in at some point it should be expected where people are like, oh, like people with the influence to be like, oh, yeah, blah 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 blah. Have a good night. Black Lives Matter. Like having that as like almost like a hello and a goodbye to put that like not in an saturating way.
Really starbucking me here. Go ahead.
But that's how it should be so normal.
Yeah.
That's just part of the lexicon. Like that should just be a normal thing to fucking say.
And the people who are not tweeting or not posting on Facebook or Instagram or even doing something like just even changing your fucking profile picture for the one fucking day to just be solid black. Like everybody sees you. We're all, look, your friends are not calling you out, but we're calling you out behind closed doors. And if you actually do something overt, that's when we're going to fucking, and it doesn't matter how long I've known you.
Right. Like people ask me, it's like, why aren't you changing your Facebook to Silent Black? And I'm like, bitch, because I'm black every fucking day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
In a day, you can take down your fucking profile picture. I don't take this shit off. I'm black every damn day. I live this shit every fucking day. And
I was too. I know what you're talking about.
Same.
But and then I was talking to my wife earlier today about the whole the Starbucks not allowing their employees to wear anything that had Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, it's fucked up because this is a human issue. This is a humanitarian crisis issue.
Yes.
She's like, well, what do you mean?
It's not an opinion.
Right. And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you remember the Darfur situation? She was like, yeah. I'm like, remember they had a whole bunch of Darfur shirts? And she's like, yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
Remember? She's like, remember when people had an issue with people wearing Darfur shirts and walking around saying, save Darfur, justice for Darfur? She's like, no, I don't remember that. I'm like, exactly.
Right.
No one said shit about that.
Yeah. You were walking a very tight line about becoming Chris Farley there. You remember when you wore Darfur shirts? Remember that?
That was really cool.
That was good.
But like, if you think about like even what was it like 2 years ago where like black people got kicked out of Starbucks because they were chilling just like a bunch of white people were. But and then like everybody like posted on how come Starbucks has to go through racial sensitivity training when they were just a bunch of people. It's like, motherfucker, the reason is because you're asking. That's why you're making like that's why they have to do it. And then a couple years later, they're like, "Oh, you're not like how fucking dumb."
Especially when they're so active in Pride, like they go like Starbucks is like super duper active in Pride,
and that's what they said because like that's what people say. Like, hold on, wait a minute, you actually encourage us to wear things for Pride, but when it comes to this, it's an issue. Not to mention, I don't quite remember them saying anything ever about like during Black History Month or whatever. So Pride Month, fine, say something about Pride Month, but can we get Black History Month? And it's I don't know.
Right.
But either way, and that's why I was so happy when like the protests and the riots broke out in Philly. That Starbucks was the first thing to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. That was the
absolutely
first thing to go. I'm still upset that we weren't able to get the Rizzo statue down. I
Yeah.
wanted the Rizzo statue gone, and I wanted us to do it.
Yeah,
but you know,
absolutely agreed.
You can't win them all.
Right.
That's what I wanted. But I was so happy when Starbucks was the first fucking thing to go. And honestly,
just want to point out the statements by Rasheed Wesley Jr. do not necessarily reflect those of Chipper Chatter.
Yes, they fucking do.
They definitely reflect me.
I love this because Starbucks is so fucking weird. They went to war with Republicans over a red cup, but this is the one they're like, whoa, hey.
Yeah, I know.
Because Republicans didn't fuck up their store.
Right.
Republicans didn't run. Republicans.
This is why I don't think there'll be riots. Republicans are very lazy and quite old, generally.
No, what will happen if Trump loses is that they will march on the Capitol armed and not let Joe Biden in.
Then we could have them throw tear gas at those ones.
They won't because they'll be peaceful.
Yeah, why didn't they do it? Like, if they would have done that, they would have done it a month ago.
In my unpopular opinion, as a gun owner, there is nothing peaceful about publicly brandishing your firearm.
No. Exactly. Same here. Same. Exactly. Yeah. Like, guess what? You are showing people, don't fuck with me. That is, you
right.
Well, be like.
That is an act of aggression.
Yeah.
I always thought they were kind of, it's a kind of a pussy move to, show your hand before it's time.
Yeah.
And also, Republicans, they're not worried about Republicans rioting because when they burn shit, they burn it in their backyard.
Right.
It's specific products, and they make a snappy hashtag to put on Twitter about it.
Yeah.
That's how they riot. You burn your own shit that you bought, dumbass. The fuck? Everybody in Minneapolis.
I think they're like, I know a lot of Republicans, and they love complaining, and they haven't really had the chance the last couple. They might just go, "Oh, good, we can bitch down."
Yeah.
My thing is,
or he might not leave.
Everybody in Minneapolis, and Philly, and Atlanta, they burned other people's shit, and then they went back home to their fully furnished apartments. None of their shit was destroyed, and in fact,
write it down.
And in fact, they probably came back home with some shit that they didn't leave with.
Right. Yeah.
Stop and write it down. Stop and write it down.
One of my
just watch this.
Yeah, I don't want you to lose these. These are good.
Well, he's gonna watch it again. So.
One of my favorite things was how
I can't watch myself.
One of my favorite things was how like so many people were like, wait until they start moving residential.
Oh yeah.
Never fucking happened.
Yo,
never in a million years would that have happened.
I read this fucking so I read this this thing on Facebook that was like this, like Second Amendment, don't tread on me, whatever fucking group, like white supremacists basically, who are like walking around with fucking ARs and like AR-15s. I don't want to sound like an idiot. They're walking around with like flak jackets and all that shit. Camouflage in the fucking in just a regular town USA, and the whole post was like, and it was like 10 pictures or so, but the whole post was about how they they found out that there was a Facebook post that Antifa was going to come to their town and wreak havoc and and do terrible things and spray.
God damn it, he's
paint Black Lives Matter on you. So this am I good now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Caught up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I didn't want to lose the biggest point of this is these people, this guy actually told this one guy told a personal story about how Antifa showed up. They actually did show up. And this one guy showed up to a protest, a peaceful protest with a crowbar. And this good Second Amendment loving, chaw chewing fucking whatever Mountain Dew drinking bro, like ran up and took that crowbar from him. And that's what we're gonna do as Americans. And so I posted, so where's the picture of that?
Right.
Like if you whip a guy's ass and you're like, because he was threatening your life, why wouldn't you at least show a picture of the crowbar?
Right.
They didn't.
Right. Or,
you know why? Because it was fucking made up.
Right.
to scare old white folks. That's it.
Or the shit that they posted about the dude who everybody posted. Well, first, even the first night of the protest, they were like, "Oh my God, look at this picture of this woman who was trying to stop people from looting the Target, and oh my God, they just beat her up in a wheelchair." And everybody was like, "First off, we were there. The bitch wasn't trying to guard; she was trying to block people from coming out of this Target that was on fire." So she became a person. She was like willing to let people burn up inside of there.
Yeah.
2, she had a fucking knife.
Yeah,
and
she was
stab people.
She was
3,
stabbing people as they ran past.
I know we're talking about important stuff, but she had a fucking knife.
And 3, she could fucking walk.
Yeah, she actually could walk. She was just a scooty. She used her legs to scoot.
Hey, just because we're in a jazzy doesn't mean we can't walk. You need to show some respect.
No,
it was just a wheelchair.
Yeah, and so somebody rightfully beat her. Somebody rightfully so beat her ass, whooped her ass in that fucking chair.
Yeah,
and I don't feel bad about it whatsoever.
These riots are really bringing out the anger in Rasheed.
They also, nobody talks about how all of the people who ransacked that Target returned like hours later to disperse the goods to the public.
Yeah.
Yes.
That my friend. Oh, Chimmer, did you not know that?
So they came back with the stuff they stole?
The people who looted came back like an hour later with the stuff they stole. They set up tents that they stole.
They had little stalls and shit. It was fucking red as hell.
And started just giving away things to people in the community.
Yeah.
Food, drinks, water, clothes, TVs, like whatever.
It didn't matter.
So they Robin Hooded some of the shit that they stole. They probably had other shit, let's be honest. Like they didn't bring back the TV.
Chris, do you remember? No, they were giving away TVs and stuff. They were giving away TVs and stuff. Do you remember earlier when I used the term? Do you remember earlier when I used the term liberated?
Yeah.
Yep. That's liberating.
That's what happened. They liberated
because I don't understand this new crazy world where you don't keep the shit you steal. I'm sorry, I keep the shit I steal.
Are you ready for like the triple down?
Go ahead.
The CEO of Target tweeted and was basically like, "I fucking get it. You guys like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you should do this."
Weird time right now.
Yeah.
Oh well,
but what we don't live in a weird time, Chris. We live in a time where people are true anarchists.
Yeah.
They're going into corporations.
I don't like it. Can I move to Canada? Are they doing this in Canada?
Some people are.
Are they giving back their stolen goods in Canada? That's what I want to know.
They're not giving them back to Target. They're giving them to the community. There's people saying,
I don't
already
care.
have
You
a
keep
TV.
what you steal.
No, and the weirdest thing, and just as an extra mind fuck, the police who saw this little makeshift community of people handing out goods to the community and everything in multiple cities would
this larceny ring? Go ahead.
Would come and destroy the fucking supplies.
Yeah.
Like, protesters were handing out water to people while they were marching. They would come and destroy the supplies of water, dump them, burst them, like whatever.
Yeah.
Which is against the Geneva Convention. There was this list of things that is like that are war crimes.
Yeah,
that like there were like 19 of them that they fucking did. Yeah.
Or the fact that like during protests you would bring a medic, like a nurse or somebody, into the protest just to help people who would be getting hurt. The police were noted as particularly going after and arresting the medics.
And
Yeah.
before you ask Chris, how did they know they were medics? They were wearing like hard hats with red crosses painted on
Because
them.
I make a couple jokes at Rasheed's expense doesn't mean I'm the fucking sheriff from Dukes of Hazzard. What the fuck?
Roscoe, people.
I just think it's strange that you didn't keep the shit that you stole. That's
Why would
normal. You keep it. You keep it. Why did you put all the effort into stealing it?
You don't keep what you don't need. That is anarchism, baby. That is anarcho-communism at its
They're
heart.
doing that in Canada because it doesn't feel right.
First off, fuck you, boss hog.
I just can't wait for
you, Luke.
I can't wait for 6 weeks from now when Chris is in a rocking chair on his front porch saying,
"What the fuck is going on?"
Back in my day, you kept what you stole, and if someone came for you, told you to suck your dick.
Yeah. You brandished your firearm, told them to get the fuck off your property.
I can't wait to do that to the white guy.
But is that's like, I think that's white people's favorite phrase of all time. Get the fuck off my property. White people love saying that.
Rasheed, you don't know this, but it's very hard to acquire property.
Well, you know what they say. You know what they say. As long as somebody owes you something, you're never broke.
Okay.
So
you're just making so your landlord's never broke.
No. So technically,
mine isn't.
I have 40 acres. So
that's true. Yeah.
That's a real positive way of looking at it.
Yeah, I have 40 acres and a mule somewhere, and I'm gonna get that shit out of somebody one day. I don't care. I'm gonna get that shit out of somebody.
Can I slightly?
I think if you marry one of our women, you give up the right to reparations.
Nah, did you see my youngest? You see my youngest daughter? She wasn't Jaws for a while.
I would just want to turn it a little slightly, just a teeny tiny bit slightly. Who's asking?
Chris Williams is going to put me in a fucking Young Republicans club. Go ahead.
So while we're talking about like all of these myths that these fucking crooked pieces of shit are putting out there, or false truths or half truths, whatever.
False moves.
Yeah, they're doing false moves. Fucking false moves, man. I'm telling you. How
You're gonna make it work.
Now here's the question I have. Who's asking white people to apologize for slavery? Nobody.
Ooh.
Nobody.
Farrakhan.
Yeah. Well,
Al Sharpton is asked on more than one occasion.
No.
Jesse James has come up to me personally and asked me to apologize.
Jesse James, the guy who owns Orange County Customs.
He's had a whole 180 life shift. He's really into the cause.
It's so weird. No.
Ever since he divorced Sandra Bullock.
He misses her kids.
I see all these posts about like, I won't apologize for being a Christian. I won't apologize for loving Trump. I won't apologize for slavery. And it's like, nobody's asking you to apologize for slavery. What we're saying, what people are saying is, I shouldn't say we, but I'm saying people are saying acknowledge the fact that it fucking changed things.
Yeah, no,
that's it.
Exactly. No,
that's it.
No, that's real fucking shit. All we're asking is we're not asking you. I want to apologize for being white. No one's asking you to apologize for being white. We're asking you to acknowledge the shit. We're asking you to acknowledge the fact that you are white.
Yeah.
We're asking you to acknowledge the fact that it changed.
I'm stopping at 2015. I'm stopping at 2015. I can't evolve anymore. I'm sorry.
How are you younger than me? And you're like,
I got too much on my plate, and it's just too much to learn. Okay. I had to learn about pronouns. I have to call one person them. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And this is why.
Chris just found out this week he's a Republican, guys. Calm down.
Yeah,
because of my
this is why when we
got way off the rails.
And this is why we said when the race war happens, we're taking Tony Hawk and not you.
Yeah.
This is why.
Listen, that's fine. That's fine. Because I got to be honest with you. I'm scared of all of you. I'm scared of all the white people trying to make me do shit. I'm scared of all the black people trying to make me do shit. You know the only people that haven't asked me to do shit? The Asians. I'm sticking with the Asians.
And they have Wu-Tang, so
the only thing Asians are gonna ask you to do, Chris, is get out of their store.
Yeah, and also they're gonna be like, hey, what about the dragon. I forget his name.
Mushu or whatever the fucking thing is called.
All right, you're trying to get us to move on, I guess.
No. I'm feeling very alienated, and Chris Williams is giving me looks.
They get it. They get it. You are behind the times, goddammit.
You know what, asshole? I'm your friend.
I don't know.
That's why we're trying to get you to realize the error of your ways, dog.
I was your friend before all the riots. I'll be your friend after all the riots. But stop making me feel like I'm not involved enough. I have a black bisexual friend. Fuck you.
You want to know why? The fact that you say I have a black bisexual friend.
I had to cover 2 bases.
That's just called efficiency.
I'm just being organized.
You take out a fucking Craigslist ad to find one. Like, oh well, finally, somehow you just stumbled upon him during comedy. Cool.
I stumbled upon 2 of them.
Wait, 2 black bisexual men?
I don't know. I gotta be honest. Josh does offer to wrestle a lot.
Oh no!
It certainly is the most homoerotic of the sports.
I'm saying.
I've seen pictures of dudes grabbing each other's balls, and that's
I don't know, bro. You ever see somebody play really good defense in basketball? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but nobody's fingers are going inside of anybody in good defensive basketball.
Listen, bro. I'm just saying. I've been very close to some people on a basketball court. I've known them in ways that I didn't think I should.
Listen, I've gotten slapped in the back of the neck by a dick. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get dunked on once? Did you get dunked on?
I've been dunked on plenty of times.
Once?
Yeah. When I was
people like Chris and I only get dunked on.
Yeah. I've never
I do
been
2 things
on.
when I play basketball. I get
Rasheed,
dunked
look
on.
me in my eyes. I've never been dunked on.
I do 2 things when I play basketball. I get dunked on and I make free throws. That's it.
Yeah.
But do you granny throw it?
No.
I'm actually not terrible at basketball for a man of my stature.
Yeah.
When I went to Mount Carmel, the kid that's the same weight class as me was the state champ 3 times over. And so the first day of practice, he fucking pretzeled me up. And that's when I became a basketball player. You learn what you're good at.
I had friends that put, like, by the way, going back to the whole like sticking fingers, I had friends that would super glue dimes to their butthole so that people couldn't get in. I made that up, but I mean, I thought it was.
You're such a liar. That is such an ugly snipe thing.
In my brain, I was like, okay, they got to make cups for your booty hole, right?
Just thinking about looking in the mirror, like aiming it.
No, you feel it. There's 1,000 nerve endings.
You can't make a mistake because that super glue doesn't come off easy.
So I was talking to my friend earlier.
See, Chris, you say that I want to move on and stuff. This motherfucker, all he does when he wants to talk is he goes, and they act like you can't hear. You have headphones on, you motherfucker. You can hear.
Actually, it's adjacent to what we were just talking about.
You're adjacent.
Anyway, you're adjacent.
It's not even Friday the 13th, you guys. Settle down.
Oh, was it a Friday the 13th? I didn't even pick up on it. Oops.
No.
Adjacent.
Shouldn't have dropped all those beers.
That was good.
It was all right, Chimmer.
But I was talking to my friend earlier today. I can't say his name because this is some illegal shit, but it was very interesting how he managed
subscribers, guys. But go ahead.
Yeah, he managed to get an Uzi. He has a fully automatic Uzi.
My fucking dream.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So bad.
I will tell you who it is later.
Okay, wait, no. You're not gonna tell me who.
Yeah, I won't tell anyone.
But I will tell you this also. Thanks, Easy, for giving me a fucking addiction.
Right.
Once that's on an album cover, yeah.
For me, it was KRS-One.
Oh yeah, my Uzi weighs a ton.
Yeah, but so he has an Uzi, and we were talking about how he got it, and he said like, "Oh, my so lives in Mount Carmel and has a shit ton of guns," and I'm like, I just want to let you know that the fact that somebody who has a cache of illegal guns that lives on a place named Mount Carmel is not lost on me. Like I just, after watching Waco, it is not lost.
Exactly,
on me
exactly.
like,
yeah, we lived through that.
dude, I'm so glad I didn't have to live through Waco. Like just because I don't want to watch the same thing for 57 days straight.
I lived through it in Mount Carmel.
Yeah,
it was really
really.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Not Mount Carmel.
Not the same one.
Not the same
Oh,
one.
I was about to say like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But
My
no,
co-host, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead. Look
No,
up to the sky. Look up to the sky. No, just go ahead. Look up to the sky. Say, give us your point. Go ahead.
You've lived in a lot of places, and some of them have had doors, and some of them have been on sidewalks. So it's a thing for you. I know where you've been.
I totally get it.
Yeah,
I don't.
Well, then you should just cut it out.
Yeah, you were homeless. That's the thing. You were homeless.
Well, that was a long ride to get to that spot. Jesus.
Okay, how's this for short? You gave reach around for sandwiches. How's that?
There it is.
I disagree. I have gotten a couple sandwiches by reaching around.
You gave a nice rub and tug for a BLT.
Okay, well,
I think Rasheed's hammered, guys. I was
gonna say, I can tell by the cloudiness of my co-host eyes that we're at the end of our road here.
Look, no, honestly, it's not even the
Jim Beam piece. Do it. Shut up.
It's not even the Jim Beam piece.
I can podcast. Shut up. Don't talk to me about that.
I'm not gonna stop until we get a fucking sponsorship from Jim Beam for this.
Oh, that reminds me.
That's like the opposite of what sponsorships do.
Once again, Blue Chew, it'll make your dick work.
But no, dude, this whole the past 2 weeks have made me super fucking punchy. It's super punchy, bro. Like
I'm debating as to whether or not to let him finish the bottle on camera and see what happens.
Well, I mean, I got a nice.
He's not finishing that on camera. That's how much he had last week.
All right.
Yeah. No, it's true. I only drink these. I only drink this during Civil War, when we're at Civil War, or when we film with these fuckers. When I film with this fucker. You guys are good. I don't need to drink to deal with Sewell or Bill Russom. I have to drink to deal with Chimmer and Josh Dwight. I have to drink. I have to drink to get through it, or I'm not gonna survive. I'm not gonna survive.
Maybe you make me drink as well.
What is that? Is that a Smirnoff?
Yeah. That's a Smirnoff ice.
I'm a little girl when it comes to alcohol.
You just got iced.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How's your IUD feel?
And finish it.
It hurts. It's been moving around a lot. I don't think I put it in the right place.
So first off, Chris William just said you got ice, so now you have to chug the whole thing.
Oh no,
the problem is that you can't do that because there's definitely a cigarette butt, and it's been there.
It's really gross. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So guess what?
Oh, that reminds me. Time to check the count. All right, we got.
I think I have 1 and 1.
We've got one. We've got one with a bit of an asterisk next to it for the N-word column. He fucks with it twice. And I have smoked 9 cigarettes.
Holy shit, dude!
You
realize it takes me a day to get through half a pack?
Yeah, but I can afford cigarettes. So
I can too.
There's no reason to take my time.
No, I do.
My time.
No, I can afford cigarettes too. I just want to see my kids graduate high school.
Because raves cost $3 a pack.
No, I ain't going front. I was on the phone with Josh when I was at the store, and I was like, "Bro, I'm not buying Newports." He's like, "Splurge." I'm like, "Nigga, that's $9." All right, that's
it's totally worth it.
As a black person, dude, I can't help it. But when somebody says something so out of pocket, you start the sentence with that. You start the sentence with the N-word and then go from there.
I know, but you did really good. You did really good today. I'm proud of you. You didn't fucks with a lot of stuff today, even though we talked about a lot of stuff that you generally fucks with.
I self-censored. You got in my head. You got in my head.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that at the end. You just don't. You don't announce it to him.
No, I want to
bad-
live in there. I want to live in there. And that's where I. That's where I.
You want to know? You want to know how bad I wanted to say I fucks with Tony Hawk. I fucks with Mulan. No, you can't count these. You can't count these. This is just. I fucks with Tony Hawk. I fucks with Mulan. I fucks with what else? I fucks with Raiden and
Denzel Curry.
I fucks with Denzel Curry. Like, I fucks with a lot, bro. Like it was hard.
Doritos.
No,
it's like one of those
tried.
generic Doritos.
Damn.
Like the party bucket.
We play a little game here, Chipper Chatter, where you put something weird on camera to make the co-host laugh. But
it can't be a dildo. We've already established that rule. It cannot be a dildo. That's too easy.
Yeah, that's too easy. But a Dorito didn't make the list. That's fucking weird. I thought that would have got a giggle.
Oh wait, in the middle of.
So, I already know what you're doing. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know, but I still thought you might laugh about it because it was a goldfish.
Also, the snack that smiles back, children. That is my favorite.
and okay, so there's a man with a knife.
I win.
Should I go get my gun?
You want me to go get mine?
By the way, I've learned so many of my friends own guns today that I didn't know owned guns.
They've got guns and we've got guns.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But like the person who told me that they have a Uzi never would have expected it. Never would have saw that coming in a heartbeat.
Yeah. See, I just assume everybody has an Uzi.
I want one.
The people who openly talk about their guns are not the ones that you should be concerned with. It's the people
that is very true.
It's the people who are like, oh yeah, it comes up casually. Those are the ones that are like, oh, that's concerning.
Well, it is very strange that they don't think we have guns. On the Democratic side of the
one who walked onto the.
There's literally a socialist rifle association.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to worry about the guy who walked out of seeing the Joker looking for a fight. That's the guy you need to. That's the guy you need to worry about the most.
100%.
You didn't walk out of anywhere, Chimmer. You haven't walked out of anywhere for a long time.
I'm doing so many girly push-ups. I am gonna fuck you up. You wait.
Yeah, as long as I stay out of like 5 feet away from you, I think I'm okay.
You know what? You're gonna see me after this coronavirus quarantine. You're gonna see me on Friday. I'm coming for you on Saturday, brother. I'm coming to the Herbalife pyramid scheme.
Kim's gonna fuck you up.
Wait, I was gonna ask, how many times am I allowed to say pyramid scheme in front of Kim this week?
You can't say that. It's an MLM.
None. It's an None. You cannot say that.
Multi-level.
Legally, you cannot call it a pyramid scheme. However, legally, you can call it a multi-level marketing plan.
That's in the shape of a pyramid.
Yeah.
What is triangle better? I'm bringing a dinner triangle.
if we play our cards right, we can use this space as another open mic night location.
The second that she feeds us cornbread, we're gonna lose the spot.
We're not eating cornbread.
Because it's disgusting.
It is
you're an animal. Cornbread is delicious.
No, the way his
no.
The Herbalife
cornbread.
Her Herbalife kind is according to Joshua.
She made cornbread, like Herbalife cornbread, for Josh and I a year ago.
Yeah, and that's not racist.
Not gotten over it. Well, because like she was with this phase that she was like trying to make different foods out of Herbalife products. By the way, Herbalife waffles, not bad at all.
Really?
They're good.
It's
I
funny
think if you have to address a food as not being bad, it's pretty bad.
I like the idea of the remake in Life, the movie Life with Eddie Murphy, and your wife makes the cornbread. You can have my cornbread.
By the way, somebody said like describe Candace Owens in movie quotes, and I said, "Tell them about the gun line, boss. Tell them about the gun line, boss."
Yeah,
that is her.
You know what I was going to cut out, but I waited for you, and it was worth it. Well done. Way to end the show. Good job. All right, that's how we're ending the show. I want to make sure that you guys know that White Man Can't Bump is the name of our dear friends Bill Russom and Chris Williams, because Chris
Possessive.
William apostrophe S.
Yeah, it's the possessive.
You can find Chris William at Gorky Romano on social media. And he also has the Up and Up podcast, which is fantastic, I hear, from my
I was gonna
co-host.
say, don't act like you don't listen to it.
Yeah, it'd be lost on me, but he loves it. And then we got The Real Bill Russom on all social media, and Drunk Bill Explains is the name of the popular podcast. That is my co-host, Rasheed. You can find him at Sheed Got Jokes. I'm Chris Chimmer.
Wait, plug the show, bitch.
Well,
and also,
how fast is Jose gonna bump this out? That's why I was hesitant. But I'll talk about it on Saturday. You can find it online. You can find it in person. Message that man Rasheed for tickets, and it's on Saturday at 8:00 in Muncie,
June 20th.
June 20th.
Because I thought having it on,
everyone you see will be there without anyone talking over them. So you'll get to see how funny they truly are. It's gonna be fantastic.
Because I thought having it on Juneteenth would be kind of weird.
That would be a weird time, yeah.
Especially being mostly white guys.
That's a thing. We'll leave on that high note.
I love mostly white guys.
We're all uplifted now by that ending. I tried to do it the right way. This has been Chimmer Chatter. Fellas, thanks so much for coming on.